So, sir, let me just say this. Obviously, if you have a medical marijuana license, that gives you the ability to possess medical marijuana, but it does have to, it's a pain in the neck because you're supposed to keep it in all those huge containers that they give you for it. But more importantly, you're also not supposed to smoke it in your car. You're supposed to keep it at home and smoke it at home. I don't want you to respond to me. I just want you to understand that that is, I will tell you, that is the probably, out of all of the traffic stops, 90% of the cases where the officers get to go in and search the car and the person is because the person smells like burnt cannabis. And until the US Supreme Court gets away with that ruling, everybody who tries to smoke in their car or smells like it, you run that risk. So I'm just saying that as a friendly observation. So I will do this, sir. I'll keep the bond at $250 on the possession of cannabis. I'll do the violation of probation at $1,000, and then that'll give you a bond. St. Lucie County may pick up the VOP or they may not, but just make sure you stay in contact with your PO once you get out, just to let them know what's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
You have a blessed day.
Jeremiah Francois?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Francois. Oh, yes. Is this your first time in the Orange County Jail?
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome. A little bit different from JDC, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. It's probably not as fun. You don't get to eat snacks and watch TV all the time like you do over there. Okay, so you're here on 2023 MM2451AO. It is a charge of battery. I did review the charging affidavit, and I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'm assuming since it's a battery, there's no offer, so I will go ahead. I don't know why he set his bond at none. I'll set the bond at $500. I'm just gonna order that you have no contact with the alleged victim in this case. I don't know if you remember him, if you saw him again. And then that you not possess any weapons or firearms.
Or else was the JDC detainer.
Oh, because he needs to go back, maybe?
Possibly, it says pending commitment placement.
I think because he was in the juvenile, he needs to go back. So it may be that they come and pick you back up and take you and do whatever they were gonna do with you originally, if you bond out on this charge.
So I got to bond out first, then they.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. No, I think that's just a hold that he has. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Antoine Harrison. Right. Mr. Harrison, you're here on 2023 MM241AW, a petty theft and a resisting officer without violence. I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office unless we're gonna resolve it.
State did have an offer of an adjudication credit for 2 and a no return to the Save-A-Lot at 6359 West Colonial. It doesn't appear Mr. Harrison has any other in-state or out-of-state.
Okay. Your Honor, we can resolve the case. He recently just had an evaluation February of this year that found him incompetent to proceed. It is I believe a learning disability. A mental disability that's preventing him from being able to understand.
Okay.
So I would ask, he doesn't have any money. I would ask for an ROR. I did speak with him. He states that he is able to keep in contact with the attorney, even if that means he has to go to the office. But he has a intellectual disability that's preventing him from pleading today, Your Honor.
Mr. Harrison, this address that's at is it McElhaney?
No, sir. It's Bowling Street.
But who lives on State Road 121? Do you know, that's where the officers put that was where you live. Do you know, does that sound familiar at all?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Do you have a cell phone or an email?
I got an email.
You have an email?
Yeah.
Are you able to look at your email very often, or is it only when you're able to get like to a computer?
On a computer.
Do you have friends or places, like, are you able to get to the library to get to the computer very often?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what he told me, he would go to the library. And I asked if he could go into the office, and he states he could also go into the office to check in, Your Honor.
Does the state have any thoughts on this one?
No, sir.
No, she's not.
Your Honor, state will leave it within your discretion. State's main concern is that recent failure to appear, and he does have other recent criminal history and other violent arrests. So state is partially concerned regarding ROR, however, we'll leave it within your discretion.
He only had one from 2019, Your Honor. The other case, I didn't see any failures to appear in his 2021 case. And we had an eval done and everything, Your Honor, so I just ask that you consider that.
So, Mr. Harrison, I don't mind issuing the ROR. My concern is just to make sure that you come back to court, because if you don't stay in contact with your attorney and you miss a court date, when the judge revokes the ROR, your bond's gonna get set at $4,000, which is much, much higher than I would have ever given you for a bond. So just
want-
make sure you try to stay in contact with your attorneys. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and do the ROR. I am gonna order that you not go back to that Save-A-Lot on West Colonial Drive, though. Thank you.
Mhm.
He shows he has a primary caregiver,
Oh, yeah?
and it's listed, the phone, and then he mentioned bowling, I heard him say that, and that gave us too, so we,
Perfect. That makes me feel better, yeah.
that too, bowling.
Carrie Ross, bonded? I'm gonna guess yes. Can I get you to look something up for me? 230-09093.
Carrie Ross, that's
This is Carrie Ross?
Yes, yes, Your Honor, sorry.
This is Carrie Ross.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, I apologize. Okay. So, Ms. Ross, you're here on 2023 MM2427, a charge of petty theft. Were we gonna resolve it or let her get out?
State didn't have an offer at this time due to it being enhanceable.
Okay. So what I'd be inclined to do is just keep, I'll appoint the public defender's office. I'll keep her bond set at $240, but order that she not return back to the Walmart on Kirkman.
You already said 240?
Is it 250?
It's in my
250? Did I say 240? Sorry.
Okay.
My brain's kind of mushing,
Is that the only thing?
getting bad.
I will get an ROR.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what do I do?
Okay, and next I have Yoris Saracen.
Defense will waive, Your Honor.
Okay, on Ms. Saracen, I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office in 2023 MM2455AO. I'll note they're waiving her appearance. I'll keep the bond set at $500 in order that she not return to the incident where this occurred. Donald Tolson? Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Tolson. You're here on case number 2023 MM2423AO. This is a petty theft charge. Were we gonna try to resolve it?
No, Your Honor, it's also enhanceable.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Mr. Tolson, I'll keep your bond stayed at $250. I am gonna order that you not return back to the Circle K gas station on International Drive. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Hallie Ann Wallace.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon, Miss Wallace. You are here on 2023 MM2444AO. This is a trespass charge. Were we gonna try to resolve this?
State did give me an offer of an adjudication credit and no return. And then,
She would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest, no return to 315 West Concord Street.
Yes, do I have to sign this right here?
No, that's your.
Okay.
Is that sheet with that, Your Honor?
Yeah, so I'll sign the order and keep her back on it. So, okay, so Ms. Wallace, in regards to 2023 MM2444AO, the charge of trespass, I do have a plea form that you signed. Any questions about the rights on the form?
No, ma'am.
And your attorney says you're gonna be entering a plea of no contest. Has anyone forced you or threatened you to do that here today?
No.
No? And ma'am, do you understand if you're not a US citizen, entering a plea today could subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, I will go ahead and accept your plea. I will adjudicate you guilty. I will give you credit, or I will sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for the 2 days that you've previously served. I'll release you from this charge and this charge only. There are court costs, which I'll give you a year to pay back. And I'm going to order that you not return back to that location at 315 West Concord Street. That being said, you are currently out on bond, out on pretrial release, in 2023 MM1888AO. Since you did resolve the new law violation with a plea, I will take no action on the pretrial release. And so I'll just note that you're gonna remain on pretrial release for that case. Does she need to check in with PTR or does she just go back to her regular?
It would probably be safe for you to check in with your PTR officer and let him know in court that you
I don't have his information.
have any of the information.
It's downstairs in my belongings.
They'll receive that from you and then they can.
Okay, and I'll keep the order that I'm signing, I'll give that to the clerk, because you want it.
Oh, yeah,
Filed.
that can be with the paperwork if the clerk wants it, yeah.
Okay,
And
thank you.
also, just make sure whatever you did have to meet those.
Okay, so I am being released today, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any questions?
No, ma'am, thank
You're all
you.
set, thank you. Wilgens Gadeas? Oh, okay. So. I don't know how that's gonna work. He's got so many open cases and he has private attorneys on all of them. So we'll come back to that.
Your Honor, that's not, this is Rooks.
No, yeah. No,
Oh, okay, the other person.
that's a Creole, yes.
So just set this to the
Yes,
side?
yes.
Okay, yep. I was just setting the Creole to the side. Okay. Yeah, because I had it first. Mr. Brooks, you can come on up. Thank you. So, Mr. Brooks, you're here on case number 2022 MM8718AO. This was a capias that was issued when you failed to appear for your pretrial conference. The Public Defender's Office was previously appointed. The judge did set your bond in the amount of $500.
Your Honor, there was actually an offer to resolve the case.
Okay,
The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, no return to 2500 South Kirkman Road. There's also a cost of investigation in the amount of $118.96 to the Orlando Police Department, and Mr. Rooks would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay. So, Mr. Brooks, I do have a plea form here that you had signed for the charge of petty theft. Did you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No, my pretrial, that was the day I was gonna sign the plea that I'm signing right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I was too far away and I was on foot. I couldn't make it to the court.
No worries, no worries. The only thing I want to make you aware of is this is a petty theft, so it is one of those enhanceable cases. It could be used against you in the future, only if you're ever charged with theft in the
I
future.
thought this one wasn't because it's being the adjudication. It's not.
It'd be the opposite. If we gave you a withhold, it wouldn't count, but the adjudication does count.
Well, either way, I'm not getting another petty theft, so.
Okay, that works. Okay, and so.
I'm trying to not ever have to be here again.
That would be good with us. So, she says you're gonna enter a plea of no contest. Did anybody force you or threaten you to do that?
No.
And you understand if you're not a US citizen, entering a plea today could subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay. I will go ahead and accept your plea. I will adjudicate you guilty. I'm gonna sentence him to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for the 2 days that you previously served. I'll release you from this charge and this charge only. Gonna order that you not return back to that location at 2500 South Kirkman Road. There are court costs, and a cost of investigation of $118.96 to the, Orlando Police Department. Sir, I'll give you a year to pay that back. You can start paying it today, but ultimately you have a year to pay it off. And if you want to set up a payment plan, you can go and speak to the clerk's office and they'll do that for you. Do you have any questions for me?
The clerk's office, what do you mean?
So you can go to,
Like where the courthouse is downtown?
yep, there's on your paperwork, you'll see there's addresses for all of their offices. There's one in, Apopka, Ocoee, one in Winter Park. Then there's the downtown courthouse, any of those, or you can also pay online. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you Mr. Barnes? Okay, Mr. Barnes, you're here on 2023 MO 496AO. This is a loitering for an unlawful purpose under the city ordinance code. Were we gonna resolve it or set it off?
Your Honor, state didn't have an offer at this time.
Okay, so Mr. Barnes, I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I am gonna keep the bond set at $500, and I am gonna order that you not return back to that location. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Tanaya Cole, is that you, Ms. Cole? Okay. Ms. Cole, you're here on 2023 CO 437AO. This is a charge of loitering for an unlawful purpose under a county ordinance. Was there an offer on this one?
Yes, Your Honor, state did give me an offer to Ms. Cole of a withhold, credit and no return.
And she would like to accept it. It's her plea of no contest.
Okay. So Ms. Cole, I'm being handed the plea form that you signed previously or just now. Did you have any questions about the rights that are on the plea form?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And would you like, she's indicated we're entering a plea of no contest on your behalf. Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter that plea today?
No, Your Honor.
You understand if you're not a US citizen, entering a plea today could subject you to deportation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. I will go ahead and accept your plea. I will withhold adjudication. I'll sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for the 2 days that you previously served. I'll release you from this charge and this charge only. I am going to order that you not return back to that location at 8700 South Orange Blossom Trail. I'm also imposing court costs, but I'll give you a year to pay that back. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, you're all good to go. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Okay.
Okay, good morning, or good afternoon, sir. Are you Jacob Lango?
Correction is Longo.
Longo?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it spelled with an O?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the officer actually misspelled it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so Mr. Longo, I have you here on case number 2023 MO 497AO. This is charged under a city ordinance for loitering for an unlawful purpose. Was,
Your Honor, we were gonna ask for an ROR. Me and the state talked about this. They don't have any objection to a ROR in this particular defendant.
okay. Mr. Longo, let me just ask you a question. Do you have a phone or an email address?
I have an email address, my phone, everything got stolen away from me because I'm out on the streets.
Okay.
So I still have an email address that I can get into.
Can you get to like a library or someplace to check your email?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the only reason I'm telling you that is because the ROR lets you out without having to pay anything. The problem is if you don't stay in contact with your attorney or don't show up for your next court date, they'll issue a warrant for your arrest, and under our administrative order, it shoots up to $2,000, which is a lot more than any of us would probably give you for a bond. So just make sure you stay in contact with your attorney. I am appointing the public defender's office. The ROR will go into effect, and I just order that you not return back to that location. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Once you finish doing that for her, you're free to go. The next case I have is Christopher James Amick. He bonded. How about Garrett Thomas Carr?
Sort of.
Next, I have Jasier Guevara. Kubra Hazar. That's good. Can you have them all bond for me? Just kidding. Michael J. Anderson. Okay, are you Mr. Anderson? Okay, good afternoon, sir. I have you here on a warrant. Sorry. This was signed by Judge Duckworth for a charge of petty theft with 2 or more prior convictions. He has set your bond at $1,500. That's in case number 2023 CF 4621. He also included that you not return to that particular target. And I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Victor Batten.
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Batten. You are here on a warrant. This was signed, by Judge McCarthy. He did set your bond at count 1 is sale and delivery of cocaine for $7,500. Count 2, $150. Count 3, $150, and count 4, $150. This is in case number 2023 CF 4691AO, and I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Yes, yes, ma'am. Raji Bowden. What is that? Oh. Thank you. Are you Miss Bowden?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Bowden, you're here on case number 2022 CF 3846AO. This is a capias that was issued when you failed to appear for trial management conference. The judge in that division has issued a warrant. The bond was at none. I do show you have the public defender's office previously appointed, so they'll try to get you back in front of Judge Harris to see if she'll give you a bond. Okay? Good luck to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Even if I was incarcerated when I was supposed to show up in court?
More than likely, she'll give you a bond that much faster, but unfortunately, she's the only one that can do that.
Okay, so.
Just contact your public defender as soon as you can and ask them to get them on her docket so she can do that bond hearing for you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Albert Bryant? Okay, Mr. Bryant, good afternoon. You're here on case number 2023 CF 4671AO. I have reviewed the charging affidavit in this case. I am finding probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'll go ahead and stay the bond on count 1 at $1,000. I am gonna reduce count 2 to $150, and I'll reduce count 3 to $100. And then you're good to go, okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, actually, how long I been here?
How long have you been in here?
How long will I be here?
If you can pay the $1,200 bond, you could get out as soon as that gets paid.
But if not,
If not, then you would probably have to stay here until the state files on the charges, which they have 33 days to do that. But you can also talk to your attorney, and if other things come up, they can do a bond hearing for you in front of the trial judge, because then the attorney that's working on the case might know a little bit more about it.
Bond hearing? I don't understand. I mean, is it necessary for me to stay in 33 days?
Not necessary, no, if you
I mean,
can bond
'cause-
out.
Because I don't have nobody to bond me out. Excuse my hygiene.
Well, then I would definitely call your attorney and see if you could talk to them about getting you a bond hearing.
All right, and what the bond hearing, what was good with the bond hearing?
That's where the trial judge will listen to the state, and they may bring in witnesses, or the defense can also talk about the fact that you don't have any family here to help bond you out.
Will that increase or decrease my days? I mean, I'm not trying to stay, excuse me, I'm not trying to stay for 33 days. I mean, I ain't do nothing wrong.
That's entirely up to the state and and the trial judge. So I would just talk to your attorney. That's probably your best bet. Because I already lowered your bond. I'm not gonna lower it anymore.
Okay. So I have to actually stay in here for 33 days?
Or you can either bond out, or you can stay, and if your attorney files a 33-day motion, they'll let you out on an ROR if the state hasn't filed charges by then. That's usually the longest you would stay. Okay?
33 days?
Yep. Okay, good luck, thank you. Daryl Mandel Collins. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Collins. You're here on case number 2023 CF 4618AO. This is a warrant that was signed by Judge Duckworth. He did set your bond in the amount of $1,000 on count 1, $500 on count 2. I'll go ahead and stay that. Were you wanting to have the public defender appointed, or are you gonna hire your own attorney?
I have a lawyer.
You already have an attorney? Okay, did they know you're here?
I doubt, I didn't even know I had.
Okay. Oh, this is an add-on charge. Okay, who is your attorney?
Self.
Evan Self? Okay. Do you want me to call Mr. Self and let him know that they added some charges on, and maybe he could come to you and talk to you about this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will do that, sir. I'll give Mr. Self a call, and we'll see if we can let him come talk to you about it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck, sir. Thank you. Yes. And this would be Lysandra Cole. And Ms. Cole, you're here on case number 2023 CF 3729AO. This was a warrant for retail theft that Judge Caresti signed. She set your bond in the amount of $1,000. She included that you're not to have any contact with the victim or co-defendant and not to return to that Ulta Beauty store. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Okay, good luck to you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon, sir. Are you Dennis Dent?
Ma'am, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So, sir, this is case number 2023 CF 4571AO. It's an arrest warrant that was signed by Judge Craner for incidents alleged to have occurred on April 1st of this year. The charge of robbery, he set your bond at $7,500. For aggravated assault, he set your bond at $5,000. What was the state's position? Mr. Dent is currently out on bond.
Your Honor.
Well, hold on, let me just ask the state first. He is currently out on bond for driving while licensed suspended as a habitual traffic offender from November charges. He hasn't been arraigned yet, though. His arraignment is scheduled for tomorrow.
And the state's just looking at the allegations within the new law, because I believe the allegations are also that the defendant was driving a vehicle, and that is where the, I guess, the motor vehicle comes from, which he should not have been driving if he's out on bond, also for AIDS Willis.
Your Honor.
However, state will just leave it within your discretion, Your Honor. I would
Okay.
ask that you stay the bonds as what Judge Craner said.
So, Mr. Dent, I did appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you, so maybe let her know what you want to tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, on the out on bond, I don't see any attorney appointed. I would ask that you appoint us as well on the out on bond. Additionally, my client's mother just passed and he has a funeral to attend to. So I would ask that you just stay the bonds and take no action out on bond, so that he's able to.
So, Mr. Dent, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Were you aware that you had an arraignment tomorrow downtown?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If I let you, well, let me ask you, if I stay the bonds at 7,500 and 5,000, will you be able to get out of jail to get back downtown to tomorrow?
No way you can lower it?
I can't lower it.
I can make, yes, ma'am, I can bond out.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's what I'll do, though. I'll go ahead, I'm not gonna take any further action on the out on bond. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. If you run into issues, your best bet's to call the PD this afternoon so that you make contact with them, and then they may be able to file a written plea of not guilty and a waiver of your arraignment so that you don't have to come back downtown tomorrow,
Okay.
okay? Otherwise, I will stay the bond at the 7,500 and the 5,000 and appoint the PD on that case as well.
So if I'm still here by tomorrow, will they take me to court? Or,
They should, but because it's a downtown arraignment, they may not. But what we'll do is we'll make sure that we contact Division 16 and let them know that you've been arrested and that you're trying to bond out. But hopefully the PD, even if you don't get out tonight out of jail, you can always try to contact the PD's office and let them know what's going on so that they can file something on your behalf this evening.
okay, I'm gonna work on it. Thank you so much.
And Your Honor, on the new lawsuit, it would ask for no contact, no return, no weapons.
Yeah, no contact with the victim, no return to that location, and no weapons or firearms.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good day, ma'am. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, sir. Good luck. Megan Dollar? Mental health?
Your Honor, I will waive the appearance. However, I would ask that you ROR the trespass. I believe it's the lesser included. Offense to the burglary.
Oh, I see what you're saying. She did steal a cat, but she gave it back.
After she was struck down. It has no objection to treating trespass as a lesser included.
Okay, so in 2023 CF 4677AO, I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent Ms. Dollar. They are gonna waive her appearance here today. I will stay the bond at $500 on count 1, 5,000 on count 2. I'll reduce count 3 to an ROR as it is a lesser included of the dwelling charge. I will just order that she not return to that location and that she have no contact with her ex-boyfriend or his mother. I believe this is Carl Ford. Mr. Ford, you are here on case number 2023 CF 2727AO. This was a warrant that was signed by Judge Allen. She has set your bond at $5,000 on the robbery charge, $500 on resisting merchandise recovery, and then she's also ordered that you not return to that location. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
One thing, Honor, is there anywhere I can get a reduction in bond? I can only afford like about $350. I have a job I'm scheduled to start on Friday, and I only have $350 that my mother's holding. Is there any way you can help me with this matter, please?
And Your Honor, state did file an information. We charged a petty theft 2 prior, so an F3, and then the resisting merchandise recovery, the M1.
I can reduce, how about I reduce the 5,000 to 1,000, but I'm not going any lower than that.
That's fine, so how much would I have to pay?
So the total comes to $1,500.
That I would have to pay out of cash, or?
That's up to you
So
and
my
the
bond
bonds.
is now, what, 1,500?
So originally it was 5,500. I've now reduced the robbery charge to 1,000, so it's now 1,500 total.
So I can manage with $350 to get out?
I don't know, that's up to you and the bondsman.
1,500. So it's.
welcome. So in essence, does sometimes lowering the bond just screw them more because then they make them have to pay all cash? No?
Only if if you don't live in the country, it's pay all cash usually.
Oh, okay, okay.
Won't do a percentage generally.
The grand percent.
Okay. Gotcha.
$500 bond and a $250 bond.
It's the same.
Even the dollar, whatever, it's a bump.
So next I have David Frederic. He refused?
Defensive waiver.
Okay, so Mr. Frederic has two cases. I have the 2022 MM3687AO is a capias. He failed to appear for an arraignment on June 28th of last year. He does not have an attorney on that case, so I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. The bond is at $1,000. And then in regards to this new law violation in 2023 CF 4636AO, I'll appoint the public defender and I'll stay the bonds. I will also order that he have no contact with the victim and no return to that location. I'm assuming this is Jose Garcia. I'm good, Mr. Garcia. You're here on case, actually have two cases. So the first case I have is 2023 CF 4619AO. And then the other case is 2023 CF 4620AO. Were you wanting me? Yep, I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you on both cases. And I'll stay the bonds at $1,000 on each case and order that you not return to those locations. Next, I have Lawrence Govan. Are you Mr. Govan?
How you doing?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. So, I have 5 cases here. Is this the one? Let's do. So, Mr. Govan, let me ask you a question. I'm showing that Mr. Messinger and Mr. Yulo represent you on these older cases. Is that correct?
Say it again, ma'am.
So I have, let me do it this way. I have, in case number 2022 CF 5113AO, that was a failure to appear at, in a Division 16 case when you failed to appear for a trial management conference on November 21st of last year. That has a bond of none, but I have that Mr. Yulo represents you. Does that sound familiar?
The name does not sound familiar. I remember I do have a private lawyer for those cases at the time, and he mixed up the dates because I had it locked in with the bondsman. So when he mixed up the dates, that's when, you know, the problem started with the FTAs because I ended up missing a court date.
How about, does Scott Messenger sound familiar? Scott Messinger?
Does he work for the state?
He used to be a state attorney, but now he's a private defense attorney.
Yes, they do sound familiar.
Oh, it's
David. That's who I have
Scott.
from Ulo's office.
Oh, Dave. I'm assuming it's Scott and it's Dave. I gotcha. See, that's why I have you guys here to correct. Okay, so Mr. Yulo represents you on all these cases. So do you, on the new case though, do you want me to appoint the public defender or did you want me to talk to Mr. Yulo and let him know that you picked up another charge?
You're gonna have to talk to Mr. Yulo and let him know I picked up another charge, but
Okay, because what can happen is then that makes it a little bit easier because then he can come in and try to deal with all of them at the
all
same
of them
time.
at one time. Yeah.
Okay, so I will note that on 2022 CF 5113AO, that's a capias, the bond is set at none. He's gonna need to get you back in front of the trial division in Division 16. And then on case number 2021 CF 13594 AO, same thing, he's gonna need to get you back in front of Division 22, that's Judge Harris, because she did set no bonds on those cases. Then I also have a warrant that Judge Cameron signed in 2022 CF 10211 AO. That there is bond's been set at 2,500 on count 1, 1,500 on count 2, 500 on count 3, and 500 on count 4, for a total of $5,000. I saw Mr. Messinger's name on that one. And then, as to 2022 CF 10236 AO, that's a warrant that was signed by Judge Cameron as well. It does have bonds attached of 2,500 on count 1, 1,000 on count 2, 500 on count 4, for a total of 4,000. And then this 2022 CF 1439 AO, that's a warrant that was signed by Judge Michaela Nix Walker. It is attempted first-degree murder with the firearm and aggravated assault with the firearm. I do believe, though, he is entitled to a bond. No?
No.
On the attempted?
Count 1 is it's a life offense, so state would ask that it remain at no bond, and you said bond.
Okay.
on count 2.
I wasn't sure about the attempted. I knew it was first degree. So, Mr. Govan, it's probably gonna make more sense anyway to let Mr. Yulo know you have that charge, because the bond on that's gonna stay at none. I'm just gonna include that you not have any contact with any of the witnesses or victim's family in that case. And then,
First appearance. Let me think.
let me put, so I'll have my JA call Mr. Yulo this afternoon and let him know that you're incarcerated and there's 5 cases and that you do have bonds on some, but that he needs to try to get you bond hearings on the other.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Your Honor, he's entitled to bond on count 2, the ag assault. State would ask that you set a bond.
I'm just gonna leave it at none. I mean, it's easier when they do it all at the same time
Your
anyway.
Honor,
Please get a bond.
I would object, because he's entitled to a bond. I
Okay,
will-
I'll put it at $500 then. Okay, are you Santrell Green?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing today?
I'm good, Mr. Green. I have you here on 2 cases. Okay. So let's talk about the warrant that was for an arrest warrant. That was in 2023 CF 4643 AO. Judge Duckworth signed a warrant. It did give you bond. The bonds have been set at $5,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2, and $1,000 on count 3, for a total of $7,000. He did order that you not return to the scene. I'm assuming that's in regards to near the child care facility. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you and stay those bonds. And then in 2023 CF 4669 AO, I will also appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'll stay the bonds at $1,000 on each charge. I will say he's currently out on bond on possession. It looks like the state filed an information in case number 2022 CF 13387 AO. They filed an information March 24th for delivery of a controlled substance and possession of dimethyl, I can't say that word, whatever it is.
Pentylone?
Thank you. He is currently out on bond on those 2 cases. Since they are all drug-related charges, I am gonna revoke the bond in that case, which is the 2022 CF 13387 AO. but I note that Mr. Goff represents him from the Public Defender's Office, and I'm sure he will get you back in front of the judge in Division 20 to see that they can do a bond hearing or possibly resolve some of these cases.
6 here.
Okay, Lawrence Gerard Hill. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Hill. You are here on case number 2023 CF 4565AO. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. This is an arrest warrant that was signed by Judge Craner for possession of methamphetamines or MDMA. He did set your bond in the amount of $1,500, and I'll stay that bond. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Walter Homan? Is it Homan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Homan, you are here on case number 2023 CF 4616AO. It was a warrant signed by Judge Duckworth. He did give you a bond of $2,500. I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. The bigger concern I have is that you're out on bond for the exact same thing, and it looks like when you bonded out on March 7th, when you didn't report, they immediately went and got a warrant for this charge. So I am gonna revoke your bond in case number 2023 CF 2736AO. But we'll notify Mr. Krabs with the Public Defender's Office that I am revoking that bond, and he can try to get you a bond hearing in front of the trial judge. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Do I have a bond, ma'am?
You have a bond on one case, but I revoked your bond on the other case. Okay?
How would I get a bond again, ma'am?
Talk to Mr. Krabs and at that phone number that she circled for you, and he'll try to get you a bond hearing. Heather Isaacs? Did I say it properly? How do you say it? Isaacs? Okay. So Ms. Isaacs, you are here on case number 2023 CF 4627AO. Anything for her? No, that's okay. So I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I am gonna stay the bond at $1,000, and that's it. You're good to go, okay? Good luck, thank you.
33 days or until they can get you a bond motion.
Mark Allen, is it Ivel?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And did I say Ivel properly?
Did Your Honor?
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Ivel, you are here on case number 2023 CF 4626AO. Now, I do show, and there's a, well, let me ask you this first, sir.
Ma'am.
So I do show that you're currently out on bond on case number 2022 CF 14773AO. It does look like you have Mr. Fetter that represents you on that charge.
I do, Your Honor.
Did you want me to appoint the public defender on these new charges, or did you want me to try to get in touch with Mr. Fetter?
In touch with Mr. Fetter.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and not appoint the Public Defender's Office. I will note that for that case that he's currently out on bond,
And we have
it's
not
from
yet.
December and you haven't filed on it. So I'm not gonna take any action on that case.
Yes, ma'am.
I will go ahead and on the possession of cocaine, instead, I'm just gonna I'm gonna set your bond in the amount of $1,500. So 1,500, but on the 2023 MM170AA, I'm finding probable cause, but I'm gonna ROR you on that charge since the state usually doesn't file on that charge.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, and then I will also have my judicial assistant get in touch with Mr. Fetter and let him know that you have been picked up on these new charges and that you'd like to talk to him about that.
So I can bond that on a 1,500 then?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you. And this is Mr. Jackson?
Yes, go.
Okay, Mr. Jackson,
I did have a PC challenge.
okay. He's here on 2023 CF 467680. And I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent him. What did you want to tell me about the new charge?
I would argue no PC as the possession of cannabis with intent to sell. The possession of cannabis as well, Your Honor, over 20 grams. And the drug paraphernalia, I would argue no PC as my client was the passenger. The bag that the officers found, I believe, was located under the driver's seat. In order to have a constructive possession, there must be more than mere proximity alone. There's no indication that he exercised any control over that bag. None of his belongings were found in the bag. So I'd argue no PC as to the possession with intent, cannabis, or paraphernalia.
Did the state wish to be heard?
Your Honor, state would just argue that it's joint constructive possession. The bag was behind the driver's seat, which would be arguably closer to Mr. Jackson's control and ability to exercise dominion and control over the bag due to being able to reach directly to his left to be able to get it. There was also a rolled cannabis blunt observed on the center console. And within that bag, there was allegedly 103 grams of the cannabis, a scale, and several plastic bags, which they would argue is enough for indicia of sale, which would be enough for the intent to sell or purchase. So they would just argue with joint constructive possession, there would be enough for probable cause, as probable cause is a low standard.
Give me just 1 second.
And allegedly, when law enforcement pulled him over, when they opened the windows or door, smoke billowed out.
And again, I would argue that's not enough for joint possession. He's not the driver, he's a passenger in the vehicle. At best, you have a possession of under 20 grams. However, the backpack and all the belongings, without there being an indication that he knew that that bag was in the vehicle, I would still argue, in case law is clear, that in order to have constructive possession, it must be more than being in mere proximity.
What I was looking for is if you are reading the affidavit, it talks about C. Deputy Brood's report for Woodson's interview. And I don't know what was in that report. Here's what I would be inclined to do. I would be inclined to find PC. I would set his bond at 1,000, 150, and an ROR, and not take any action on the case that he's currently out on bond for. But if you don't agree with that, I would give the state 24 hours to see if we could get the supplemental report and go from there. Okay. Okay, so Mr. Jackson, what I'll do is on the case that you're out on bond for, 2023 CF 188780, I'll take no action on that one. But just keep in mind, if you continue to get arrested on charges, it runs the risk of being held without any bond so that we stop you from getting arrested again. So that's just common sense. But I will go ahead on these charges. I'll keep the bond set at $1,000 on count 1. I'll reduce count 2 to $150. And then count 3, I'm finding PC, but I'll ROR it since the state doesn't usually charge on it. So it does lower the bond, and I'm not holding you without any bond at all on the other charge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So good luck to you, sir. Thank you. You too. Kenneth Jean. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Jean. You are here on 2023 CF 4704AO. This is actually a warrant that Judge Duckworth signed for possession of MDMA. It does have a $1,000 bond, and I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Deshaun Jones.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jones. You are here on case number 2023 CF 467880. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. The trafficking in MDMA with a weapon, I believe he's entitled to a bond, correct? I'm not sure why they set it at no bond.
Yes, and I believe it comes in, how much do we have, 78?
Is this place?
78 grams. Trafficking with 78 grams would come in at 200,000 on the bond schedule with a weapon. So he is entitled to bond on count one.
What's room 22? Is that a bar or a restaurant? Club? Kind of like Roxy or the Beecham? Okay. And are you employed there full-time?
Was.
Until today or yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. Here's what I'll do. On count one, I am gonna set your bond in the amount of $50,000. On count two, I'll reduce that to $5,000. Count three is $5,000. Count four is $5,000, and I'll reduce count five to $5,000. I am appointing the Public Defender's Office, and that'll take care of that.
Your Honor, they would ask that he comply with the bond source condition, 903.046 sub F, just so source of funds before he is released.
We would object, as to the source of funds, Your Honor. We believe that that is, essentially a nebia hold, so defense would, object to the source of funds being a requirement.
It is a nebia hold. We just got rid of that term, and I thought that that's why the legislature enacted the statute instead.
That is why, Your Honor, in the bail termination statute, the 903.046, it says it is one of the things that Your Honor should take into account is where the source of funds will come from. So that's why state's asking that you take that into account. Usually defense relies on Fleury, which was then taken over by Sparrow, which is what state relies on, which is the 5th DCA case, stating that it is not unconstitutional to impose a bond source condition, and that's in Sparrow, 5th DCA, 240 Southern 3rd, 841.
And Your Honor, again, he's employed full-time. No other convictions other than a possession of controlled substance. He's not a career. It doesn't look like he's a career drug dealer. I just ask that you stay the conditions already set.
Your Honor, state's concern is most of his criminal history, at least here in Florida, is all drug-related, including other intent to sell cases, and he is a multi-state offender from other states with other convictions and violent offenses out of state as well.
And may we approach on this, Your Honor?
Sure. So I did take into consideration his prior criminal history when I was lowering the bond amounts the way that I did, but I do think the state, based on the Florida state statute, has the right to request that. So I am going to go ahead and include the, can you give me the specific statute number again so I can have Madam Trial Clerk put that on there?
Yes, Your Honor, it's 903.046 sub F, as in Frank.
So that's for all of the counts. Okay. Okay, Robert Jubilee. Okay, Mr. Jubilee, good afternoon. You are here on two cases. The first one I have is 2023 CF 465780. It is an arrest warrant that was signed by Judge Craner for sale and delivery. I'm gonna go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Now, he does qualify for pretrial release. So why don't I do this? Instead of keeping those bond amounts, I'll go ahead and release him on pretrial release as to all the charges. So that'll include the arrest warrant as well as the new law violation of 2023 CF 466580. But Mr. Jubilee, I am gonna order that you not possess any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Should I have them, I am gonna have them test you randomly to make sure that you're abiding by that, but would you like me to have them wait 30 days before they test you just in case?
Your Honor, defense would ask for 30 days.
Okay.
I don't want him to.
I'll go ahead and have them give you 30 days before they test you for the first time. But you will remain out on PTR on both these cases, so don't pick up any new law violations or else you run the risk of being held without any bond at all. Yes,
The other special condition besides the random UAs?
that was it.
Just
Oh, just don't test them for 30 days.
don't test for 30, random UAs, don't test for 30 days.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon. Is this Mr. Is it Kaba?
Ma'am, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Did I say your last name properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, sir, I do have a charging affidavit here in 2023 CF 466780. It is for a charge of petty theft with 2 prior theft convictions. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I am finding there's probable cause, and I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I am gonna keep your bond at $1,000 and order that you not return back to the 5265 International Drive or the Tommy Hilfiger store. Now, sir, you're currently out on bond in case number 2023 CF 2782. That is for a charge of petty theft with 2 prior theft convictions. For incidents that occurred back in May of last year. That information was filed on March 1st of 2023. So because the charges are so similar, I am going to revoke the bond in that case. But I do show that you have the public defender in that division. So we will make sure that we contact Mr. Almaluk to let him know you need a bond hearing. Okay, thank you, sir. Michael Kimball?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Kimball, good afternoon. You're here on 3 cases. I am gonna go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I have case number 2023 CF 466880. That's in Division 11. I'm gonna keep your bond set at $10,000 on count 1. I'm gonna reduce count 2 to $1,000, count 3 $1,000, count 4, I am gonna keep it set at, no, actually, I'm gonna reduce that to $10,000. And count 5, I am finding PC, but I am gonna ROR you on that charge. Then in regards to case number 2023 CF 465680. That's a warrant that was signed by Judge Craner. He did set your bond at $10,000 on count 1 and $10,000 on count 2 for a total charge of $20,000 in order that you not return to that location.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the third charge, 2023 CF 4572, was a warrant that Judge Egan signed. You are entitled to a bond on count 1. I'm gonna set that bond in the amount of $10,000. Count 2 has 5,000, count 3 has 2,500. And I think that was it. And we appointed the public defender, right? Because that was what you wanted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're all set, sir. Thank you.
Am I?
Mr. Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you. You're Clarence Knox?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Knox, you are here on case number 2023 CF 4686AO. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You actually qualify for pretrial release, so I can release you without you having to pay a monetary bond. The only condition would be that you not possess any weapons or firearms. Do you have any other weapons or firearms at home or someplace else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so what I can do, sir, is, like I said, I'll appoint the public defender, release you on PTR. That way, you'll just check in with them and keep in touch with your public defender about the case in case the state picks up the charges.
Absolutely. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Go back really quick to Mr. Kimball.
I can, yes.
I believe she's bringing up 23 CF 4668, the new law one. In reference to count 2, the sale and delivery. I believe Ms. George is making the argument that it should be a possession with intent to sell or deliver, as there was an actual sale.
Okay. Didn't I lower the bond on it, though?
Yes, I think just the statute needs to be changed. That's all, Your Honor. I think it's just the wrong statute.
I'll get a statute. Hold on 1 second.
Does it really matter? It matters to you. My only thing, I'm more of the lines of Judge Murphy, where we think that if I find PC for something, then I take into account what the bond is. But I understand for you, it's more about what's been charged.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Fleming, you're gonna find the appropriate.
Yes.
And in the meantime, this is Shane Lewis. Okay.
Madam Clerk, I do have the statute
Okay.
for count 2 on the 4668 case from Mr. Kimball. It would be 893.13, sub 1, sub A as an apple, 113. That's possession of cocaine with intent to sell.
893.13, sub 1, sub A.
113, I believe.
113.
113.
I believe that's right.
Possession of cannabis.
It's cocaine.
Possession of cocaine.
Possession of cocaine with intent to sell. It's 118, my.
118?
118.
118.
113 is purchase.
Okay, so
118 is possession.
Okay, Mr. Lewis, you're here on case number 2022 CF 13114AO. I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. This is a warrant that was signed by Judge Schreiber. She has set your bond. There are 10 counts, and she set each count at $1,000 each for a total of $10,000. And I'll go ahead and stay those bond amounts. Now, I do show there's a hold for you out of Polk County. Does it have a bond, or?
Polk County hold, Your Honor, has a $5,000 bond.
Okay, so you can bond out on that charge too, or you can wait for Polk County to come and pick you up, okay?
So if I bond out to pay the whole amount, I can get out before Polk County picks?
Yes, yes, so you'd have to pay the $10,000 on the Orange County and then the $5,000 on the Polk County.
Okay.
Okay, good luck to you, sir, thank you. James Edward Little. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Little. You are here on case number 2023 CF 4684. I have reviewed the charging affidavit in this case, and I am finding that there's probable cause. In regards to the charges, I am gonna stay the bonds at 1,000 on count 1, 1,000 on count 2, 1,000 on count 3, and 500 on count 4. I am also noting that you are currently out on bond in case number 2023 CF 11480, or you're actually out on an ROR. However, that information was filed on March 24th of 2023. So I am gonna revoke the bond in that case. That bond will be set at none, but we will get in touch with your Assistant Public Defender, Mr. Kyle Blythe, and let him know that you may want a bond hearing in Division 14 on that case. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Next, I have Woodson, is it Logiste? Logist? Okay, and sir, you are here on case number 2023 CF 467580. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I am finding probable cause, and I will stay the bond at $1,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2. I will reduce count 3, though I am finding PC to an ROR, as the state doesn't usually charge that case. However, you are currently out on bond in case number 2022 CF 1195380. The state did file an information on February 8th of this year. It's for a 4-count information of possession of a firearm, commission of a felony, possession of 20 grams or more of cannabis with a weapon, fleeing and attempting to elude, and possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver. I am gonna revoke the bonds in that case, setting the bond at none. We will notify Mr. Loretta, your public defender in Division 12, to let him know that you may be seeking a bond hearing on that charge.
Which is what I'm letting them know.
Can I get his number?
It's right here.
It's Theodis May.
Defense will waive, Your Honor.
Okay. On Mr. May, he's here on 2023 CF 466080. I am finding probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. I will note that they're waiving his appearance here this afternoon. I'll stay the bond at $1,000 on count 1. I am finding probable cause on count 2, but I'll ROR on that charge. He's currently out on pretrial diversion. On the charge that he's out on is 2022 CF 1126180.
Your Honor, since did he sign? I don't know if he signed.
It looks like he just, like, literally
Couple days ago.
within the couple of days was told he got PTD and to sign the contract. I don't think he's even signed the contract yet, though.
I don't believe so.
You know what? Let's do this. He's gonna get kicked out of PTD anyway. I'm gonna take no action on the case that he's currently out on bond. And instead of the $1,000 bond on count 1, I'll up it to $2,000. And then we'll go from there. Okay, the next case I have is Miss Mitchell? Julia? How do you say your first name? Giuliante? Okay. And Miss Giuliante, you are here on case number 2023 CF 4638. I read through this. I am finding probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. here's what I'm gonna do. As to count one, I'm gonna increase the bond to $15,000. Then on count two, I'll reduce it to $1,000. Count three, $1,000. Count four, $1,000. Count five, $1,000. Count six, we'll keep it at $250. Count seven, I'll reduce to $1,000. Okay, and then I appointed the PD, so this lowers your bond sum. Okay, good luck to you, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry. Started zoning out there for a minute, Mr. Nelson. You are Lee Nelson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Mr. Nelson, this looks like, Division 15, they issued a warrant when you failed to appear for a trial management conference. They have set your bond at none and specifically said I can't change it. I do show you had the public defender appointed, so she's giving you that paper. Get in contact with your attorney and let them try to get you a bond hearing back in that division as soon as they can, okay?
All right.
Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Brian Perez, is it Cave?
Cave.
Cave? Okay. And, Mr. Perez Cave, do you go by both names or just both or one or?
Both.
Both? Okay. So I do have you here on case number 2023 CF 3730AO. This is an arrest warrant that was issued by Judge Carestes for a charge of retail theft. She did set your bond at $1,000. She did order that you have no contact with the co-defendant or the victim and no return to Ulta.
You get R&R?
Notice the bond set at 1,000 and I'm gonna keep the bond at 1,000, okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Just the ones that she had on there already. No contact. Yeah. Eric Nicholas Perez, bonded. Devonte Kwame Ramirez Basley.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, you're here on two cases. I have, first is a capias that was issued in 2022, CF 14306AO. This was a failure to appear for an arraignment on April 4th. They did set your bond at none in that division. That's Division 11. I think the PDs were already appointed on that case. Or no, actually they were not. I'll appoint them to represent you on that charge. And then this new charge is 2023 CF 4670AO. I am finding probable cause, appointing the public defender to represent you, and I'll stay the bonds at $1,000 on count one, $150 on count two, and while I am finding PC, I'll ROR you on the possession of drug paraphernalia. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank
So
you.
is I'm still have no bond on the other cases?
Yeah, you're gonna have to see, I think that's Judge Navarro. She's gonna wanna talk to you about that one, okay? Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get them. Reginald Reed? Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Reed. You are here on a case. Give me 1 second. So, Mr. Reed, you're here on case number 2023 CF 4672AO. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I am finding that there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. What I was inclined to do, he's currently out on pretrial release in case number 2022 CF 13836AO. There are charges from November, and I don't see that the state's picked up the charge yet. So what I was inclined to do is not issue a capias.
One second, Your Honor, 136.
13836AO,
Those were,
or did they?
one second.
have that he was arrested November 30th and he was out on PTR, but I didn't put that an information had been filed, but,
Those were just, no billed about an hour ago.
oh, congratulations. You're not out on bond anymore. So, yeah, so what we'll do is, so it looks like those charges that you were out on bond for, or you were on PTR, they no-billed them, so they're gone. So that'll just leave these new charges, possession of controlled substance with $1,000 bond and possession of ecstasy at 150. I'll appoint the public defender, and then, you can bond out on that. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Literally 1 hour ago, to the minute.
That's fine. I was gonna say, because I just saw that. Okay. So I went ahead and signed the order that I didn't revoke PTR only because the case was no bill. I don't know if that matters to you or not, but. And then, oh, I'm sorry, that was with Mr. Robinson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Robinson. You're here on case number 2022 CF 14473 AO. This is an arrest warrant that was signed by Judge Lattimore for a charge of petty theft with 2 prior theft convictions. She did set your bond in the amount of $1,000 and order that you not return to the scene, and I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Okay? Yes.
No. The whole, I did my time in Lakeland. So I come from Polk County.
Yeah, he's got a hold on his from Polk.
I have a hold for it.
Do you know what the hold
I
is?
did my time in Polk County, man. I just did 90 days in.
But you have a whole, so once you gotta pay the bond first. He still has that hole, correct? PTR?
Yep, Polk County's still open.
You guys mind if we bring Mr. Jubilee back? Apparently, I tried to put him on PTR, and PTR won't take him on one of the counts. No, that's okay. Did you guys catch that? Okay. You're so efficient. Sometimes I don't know that you're acknowledging me or not. So, I'll give you that. Okay, and then this is Mr. Schiavone. Did I say it properly? Okay. And Mr. Schiavone, you are here on case number 2023 CF 2720 AO. I did review the arrest warrant that Judge Allen signed. She determined that there was probable cause. You're entitled to a bond. Not sure why she didn't set one. That being said, I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'll go ahead and set your bond at $2,000. I am going to order that you not have any contact with the alleged victim in this case, though. Do you think there's any reason why the two of you would run into each other?
I will avoid him, but there is,
I understand, because I know that you guys both live.
I will avoid him, Your Honor.
Okay, just if you see him, try to go the other way, just so you don't cause any more problems for yourself.
Your Honor, they would also ask for no weapons. There was allegedly a knife.
I'm gonna order no weapons or firearms, sir. That's not an issue for you, is it? Okay, thank you. Oh, sticky note. Okay, Socrates Skopas? Mr. Skopas, are you Greek? I like your name, thank you. Okay, so Mr. Skopas, you're here, so Skopas, you are here on two cases. So the first one is 2023 CF 4591AO. That was an arrest warrant that was signed by Judge Duckworth. He did set your bond in the amount of $2,500 on count one, $1,000 on count two, and $1,000 on count three, and then order that you not return to the scene. I'll go ahead and point the public defender's office to represent you. And then there's this new charge from today, 2023 CF 4673AO. I'll appoint the PD on that case as well and stay the bond at $1,000.
Your Honor, can I get an hour bond on these? I was basically homeless. I don't know what they're accusing me of. I have no idea where I'm supposed to stay away from. They haven't told me nothing on this.
No, I'm not inclined to do that with your history, sir, but thank you.
The house I can stay at is a place to live.
Talk to your public defender. I have a feeling they may want to file some motions regarding your bond anyway. So talk to your PD,
I'll lose
okay?
everything I own, Your Honor. If I stay here more than today, I'll lose everything I own because it's all sitting late.
But I'm not gonna let you out on an ROR, okay? Good luck, sir. Thank you. Hope Smith?
Defense will waive, Your Honor.
Okay, in regards to Ms. Smith's case, 2023 CF 4674AO, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent her. I'll note they're agreeing to waive her appearance. I'll stay the bond at $1,000 on count one. I'll ROR her on count two, and she'll be good to go. Is this Mr. Smith? He bonded? Excellent. How about Mr. Thomas? Okay. Okay, Mr. Thomas, you are here. Yes, okay, so this is case number 2023 CF 4666AO. I did review the charging affidavit. I am finding probable cause. We'll go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Here's what I'm inclined to do, sir. Since you do have a charge that you were out on bond for in case number 2023 MM1721AO, I'll go ahead and take no action on that one. But I am gonna stay the bond on the trafficking charge at $50,000. Okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Given that it's a trafficking, state would also ask for the bond source condition.
Okay. So the state's seeking the 903.046, was that it?
Sub F.
Sub F.
State defense would object, Your Honor.
I'll note the defense's objection for the record, but I am gonna allow it.
What's that statute?
Yeah, 903.046 sub F.
Right, this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
To write this down.
Yeah, I would go ahead and say probable cause has been found. Just say $1,000, I would say. Just abide by statute.
Oh, thank you.
I think that would work.
Thank you.
Trying to think of the best way to say that. Okay, that was Mr. Thomas, right? Yeah, I'm sorry. Taraya Thomas? Mental health?
Defense will waive, Your Honor.
Okay, on Ms. Thomas in case number 2023 CF 4687AO, I'll appoint the public defender. I'll note we're waiving her appearance. I will stay the bond at $1,000 on count one, $1,000 on count two, and I'll ROR her on count three. Next, I have Tyrone Tony. Mental health?
Defense will waive, Your Honor.
On Mr. Tony, case number 2023 CF 4682AO, I will go ahead and determine that there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent them and note that they are agreeing to waive his appearance here this afternoon, and I will stay the bond at $1,000. The next case I have is Alex Torres. Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Torres. I have 3 cases here that look like they're all add-on charges. I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you on all 3 cases. In the first case, I have 2023 CF 4651AO out of Division 15. It's a burglary of a dwelling, $5,000, grand theft, $150. I'll stay the bond and order that you not return to that location. As to case number 2023 CF 4649AO, this is out of Division 16. Again, I'll stay the bond at $5,000 on count 1, $100 on count 2, and no return. As to the third charge, it's 2023 CF 4652AO out of Division 17. This will be same thing, count 1, $5,000, count 2, $150, count 3, $100, no return. And as I stated before, the public defender is appointed on all 3 cases. Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Jonah Travick Harris.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, I have you here on an arrest warrant in case number 2021 CF 6121AO. It's actually a warrant I signed back in, it's a while ago. So the bond is set at $1,000 on count 1, $5,000 on count 2, for a total of $6,000.
Your Honor, state did file an information.
Okay.
We only filed the 1 count of the neglect of a child, great bodily harm, the
Okay.
F2. So state would ask for an ROR on 1 and to stay count 2.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and, I'll ROR you on count 1, since the state didn't pick up that charge. The $5,000 bond will remain on count 2. I'm gonna order that you have no contact with the victim, no weapons or firearms. And, if I didn't say I meant to, the public defender's office is appointed.
Your Honor, you said comply with any order or plan set in place by DCF?
I didn't.
The investigation is.
I just said no contact with the victim, no weapons, no firearms.
Your Honor, he's stating that DCF was already involved and that they left the child with him.
Okay,
I don't,
that's DCF, that's not me.
I understand. He can't, I don't know. He was stating that the child was still at his home. That's the only issue. I don't know. Someone else is gonna have to, because he can't have contact with the child. So you can't have.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't have the greatest, thoughts about DCF, considering what I know how their office runs. So the fact that DCF absolved you of anything, that's completely up to them. This is a criminal charge.
I'm just trying to make sure. I don't want him to violate by going back home. So maybe a one-time return. I don't know if the child is there.
Yeah, let's go. I'll do that just to be safe. I'll say
Yes,
no
Your Honor.
contact with the victim. If he needs to return to where the victim's allegedly and get some items, he may do so one time with law enforcement officers, and no weapons or firearms.
Child support. Yes. We're not even here for that. We don't deal with that. We're only here for this.
So I just gotta find out for this.
No, you have that still holding you. We don't deal with that case. I don't know what the bond is.
So this is the thing with that.
Mr. Wells bonded? Thank you.
Modification for the visit, but.
Okay, next I have Joseph Lee Williams. Mr. Williams, you're here on case number 2023 CF 3475AO. This is an arrest warrant that was signed by Judge Egan. I looked at it, to me, he's not entitled to a bond on count 2, but he is entitled to a bond on count 1.
I believe he's entitled on both, Your Honor, due to the age. I believe they're both F3s, actually, due to the way it's currently charged and the allegations within the affidavit. So I believe they're both F3s that he's entitled to bond on both.
Okay, so Mr. Williams, what I'll do is, like I said, I'm appointing the public defender's office. Judge Egan found probable cause. I'll set your bond at $5,000 on count 1, $5,000 on count 2. I am gonna order that you have no contact with the alleged victim in this case. And that's it.
Your Honor, he was also present at the house where I think she resides, or her mother at least resides, so they would ask for a no return to the victim's residence or school.
Yeah, if he's not to have any contact with her, I definitely wouldn't go in any places where she would be. So I would put no. Can you just ask him, does he live with the mom?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so that won't be an issue then. Okay, okay, sounds good, thank you. Tony Wilson? Outside what? Oh, medical?
Yeah, the bonds, defense will waive the appearance.
Okay, so I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent Mr. Wilson in case number 2023 CF 4709. He does have bond set by Judge Alvaro at $7,500 on count 1, $250 count 2, $250 count 3, $150 count 4, $150 count 5, and no return to the scene of the offense. In case number 2023 CF 429780, that was signed by Judge Craner, who set his bond at $3,000 on count 1, $3,000 on count 2, and no return to I can't read Craner's handwriting. No return to something hotel. How about just no return to the scene?
I can check it, Your Honor.
That works for me. And then in regards to the misdemeanor, he picked up 2023 MM245380. I'll go ahead and state a bond at $500 on that case.
Just for the record, I believe it was Hotel Kinetic.
Oh, Hotel Kinetic?
I believe it's possibly a universal property, maybe.
Judge Craner is missing out on a great opportunity to be a doctor. His handwriting's about that good. Okay, are you Andre Wright?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Wright, one. My brain's starting to get fried. I can't remember what I did on this one. So on Mr. Wright, you have the 2023 CF 4710AO. It's for a charge of possession of oxy and the tampering with evidence. I'll go ahead, because it's my understanding he's out on bond on 2023 CF 1942AO, which is possession of oxy, but that's obviously not been charged on yet. So,
Your Honor, could you appoint us? I didn't see an attorney on that case.
yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead on the case that you're out on bond for. I won't revoke the bond, but I will appoint the public defender's office. But then, Mr. Wright, what I'll do is on count one of the information, I'll keep it at 1,000, and on count two, I'm gonna up that to 1,000. So you'll have a $2,000 bond, but at least you'll be able to bond out, okay? Good. Yes, ma'am, thank you. Anissa, how do you say your last name?
Yehe.
Yeha?
Yehe.
Yeah, okay. And you are here on case number 2023 CF 4661AO. I did review the charging affidavit. I am finding there's probable cause. And then let me just- You do qualify for pretrial release. So I'll go ahead and release her on a straight pretrial release. That way you don't have to post any money to get out of jail. The only condition will be that you not possess any illicit substances without a prescription, and I will test you randomly just to make sure that you're abiding by that.
Because you have that 30-day grace period, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
I'll give you 30-day grace period on that one, okay? Okay, thank you. Okay, is this Mr. Jubilee back? Let me get Mr. Jubilee's paperwork. So, Mr. Jubilee, we got a little carried away and tried to get you, PTR, and they don't allow that on the sale and delivery charge. So, let me ask you a question. Do you want me to do a combination and give you a bond on the one that I have to give you a bond and give you PTR on the other? Or would you rather me just give you straight monetary bonds on everything?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no worries. I should have caught that too.
At the school, it's free.
Well, and the states won't charge it that way, but
So and deliver. So it's up to you.
I could just bond myself out on the own.
Set a bond here and give you PTR on this. Tell it. Yep.
Yeah.
Just one bond
I bond myself out on that one.
on this one. And PTR on this one. Okay. Yes, Your Honor. He would like the pretrial release on the second count and then the bond on the first.
okay. So. I'm gonna look at it over your shoulder.
Second.
Okay. So in regards to 2023 CF 4657, I'll give him a $1,000 bond on count one, PTR on count two, with the remaining conditions. And then, did he have another charge?
Well, Your Honor, I think with that first one, they're both the same. They won't do a PTR on that. Those are together, aren't they?
Oh, ICC, okay, okay.
Oh, they want to do.
Let me back up. So on the 2023 CF 4665 AO, I'll give him the straight PTR on the possession of cocaine.
The other two are the warrant.
On the other
okay.
two,
Makes sense.
let me do this. I'll reduce the bond to $5,000 on count one and $150 on count two. And then he'll just be on PTR on the other charge.
Just one moment. So sorry, I didn't get.
So I left this the same.
Same supervision, same, it would be RUA's 30 days on that, what,
Yes, sir.
possession of cocaine?
And so this one I'm, and this one. Did I say 1,000 and 150?
I said 5.
You said 5,000,
I said 5,000 and
150.
I think
So what is it?
5,000 on count one and 150.
Okay, I'm gonna do a corrected order and, let me, just one moment, sorry.
Okay, so now we're gonna go back to the docket with Mr. Gadeas. Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, Milna. How are you?
Good afternoon. This is interpreter. ID number is 260778.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Judge Martha Adams. We are in Orange County, Florida. I have in front of me Mr. Wilkins Gedeus, Gedeus, and he is in need of a Creole interpreter, Haitian Creole. And it's my understanding that you're going to be able to help us with that this afternoon?
Yes.
Have you been sworn in today?
No.
Okay. If I could get you to raise your right hand, do you swear that you will or that you will translate from English to Creole and Creole to English to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Gideus, I have you, actually, let me just put the case numbers on before we start translating so I don't make you have to translate all this other stuff. So I have a case of 2023 MM2194, which is a petty theft. And then I also, oh, they're both arrest warrants. Okay. And the second case number is 2023 MM2413.
Yeah.
So if we could, Mr. Gadeus, you're currently out on bond on two separate cases with where Mr. Mandel's office represents you. Is that correct?
Ma'am.
Monsieur Lague ou nan conscient, ou gen deux charges Lague nan conscient côté ou gen Monsieur Mendel qui a présenté ou, est pas vrai?
Oui.
Do
Yes.
you want Mr. Mandel to represent you on these two new charges as well?
Yes.
Est-ce que tu as besoin de Monsieur Mendel représenter ou nan deux nouveaux charges ça yo?
Oui.
Yes.
Mr. Gadeus, do you need the interpreter or do you understand me pretty well?
Ou besoin d'interpréter ou bien ou comprendre madame non très bien?
Bon, ou gitan la, so n'a pas la ou. Besoin interpréter.
Well, since she's here, why not we use her? I need an interpreter.
Absolutely. I don't have a problem with that. Okay.
Un problème avec ça.
So, sir, in the, these are arrest warrants that were signed by judges previously.
Ou te gen yon mandat qui te de ou te gon juge qui te signé avant ça?
In the 2194 case, your bond was set at $5,000.
Ou gen ka sa qui c'est 2194 lan, you te ba ou caution pour $5,000.
Oui.
And on the other case, the 2413, your bond was also set at $5,000.
Et puis l'autre cas qui c'est 2023, you te charge ou $5,000 encore pour caution.
You are also not to return to either of those Burlington Coat Factory stores based on that charge.
Et selon, avec ça, te charge lan, you te bon l'autre pour pas retourner dans store Burlington Coat Factory, hein, est pas vrai?
Bat kon sa, no?
I wasn't aware of that.
Okay. Well, now I'm telling you.
Men kounya la mabdo sa. Sko pa konen mabdo sa kounya.
Oui.
Okay.
Yes.
But I'm also going to get in contact with Mr. Mandel because of the cases that you're out on bond for.
Yan seman fò kontakte M. Mendel pou 2 ka sa yu la go la.
Okay.
Because I am gonna revoke those bonds and set the bonds at none.
Mwen pa retire kousan sa yo, ma mette kousan sa yo an yen.
And then he'll need to get you back in front of the trial judges to see if they're willing to give you new bond amounts.
E la fè al devan juj lan, juj ka fè jujman, pou wè ke se traba ou an nouvo kousan.
Okay, but I'll have my assistant call him this afternoon and hopefully he can come see you either later today or tomorrow.
Ma fè aksesosman rele li apre midi an, se swa yo ka vin wou jodi an, ou bien demen si Dieu veut, dade?
Okay.
Okay, you're all set. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ou fini, monsieur. Merci,
Merci.
apri, bonne chance.
Merci.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Interpreter, for your assistance this afternoon. We greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for the service, owner. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And we finished before 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will be adjourned till tomorrow morning.
Office of the Public Defender.
And pretrial services, I left you out yesterday.
Jeff Youngblood, behalf of Pretrial Services.
Thank you. And I believe the first case we have is Luis Arturo Silva Ojeda.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
Hi.
Attorney Matt Rye. Good to see you.
Good to see you,
It's
Mr.
been a
Rye.
bit. All right.
So, Mr. Rye, let me ask you a question. Your client speaks Spanish?
Yes, he does.
Does he
Some
want
English.
an interpreter?
Did you want an interpreter?
No, I'm fine.
No, he's okay.
He's okay?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any information? You don't know that his wife is going to be here this morning, do you?
We did not know that, no.
Okay, and I don't see that she's here, so, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. This is on case number 2023 CF 4349AO, Luis Arturo Silva Ojeda. I do know that this is a probable cause warrant or a probable cause order that was signed out of Division 11. I did go through and read the paperwork that was with the case. This is one of the things I've been trying to get with Judge Calderon about is when the judges issue these PC orders and they do it on domestic violence cases, they put it at none, and I said, you know, some could argue that I don't have the right to change that, but I think that the defendant is entitled to a bond, so I've been changing them. Nobody's yelled at me so far, so fingers crossed.
When it's a PCKBS, state has no objection.
Yeah, so let me ask you, Mr. Wright, it does look like your client qualifies for pretrial release. Would he like to be out on pretrial release, or would you just rather have a monetary bond?
A monetary bond of $1,500 is what we discussed with the case.
Okay.
In terms of the probable cause issue, I know that another judge has already found that there was probable cause. Just wanted to point out to the court, this was also the subject of an injunction filed by the wife. There's a current divorce case that is pending. The injunction was heard, and Judge Bronson said she is not credible upon being shown a video that was totally inconsistent with her testimony. That injunction was denied. Does that affect the court's view of whether there's probable cause when another judge has already found one? We would argue that there is no probable cause. The injunction was denied. If the court finds that there is one, because I understand another judge already said, based on her statement, that there was probable cause, we would ask for the release conditions to be $1,500 bond, which again, I believe the state had no objection to $1,500. And since there's a minor child that's involved in this case, there's no allegation of violence related to the child, that exchanges could occur at a police station. There's one at 6701 South Kirkman where exchanges could perhaps be made. And if we could also have communications permissible through Our Family Wizard, which is a family law communications app that is court monitored, where the judges can see the communications between the parties.
Okay. And let me ask you a question, because this incident was alleged to have occurred back in January
Correct.
of this year, and it did indicate that the officers had contacted DCF. What did DCF do?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. That
Exactly.
was my only question.
Right.
There's an immigration detainer that's in there now.
There is an immigration detainer on him? Okay. So apparently immigration has a detainer on him. He's from Venezuela.
You're from Venezuela?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Have you started asylum paperwork or anything?
No.
No? Are you a US citizen? No? So they may hold him.
Was unaware of the immigration detainer. Good
Yeah.
information to have.
Yeah,
Okay.
so unfortunately, my hands are completely tied when it comes to that. I will go ahead and agree that the $1,500 bond is appropriate. I do have to issue the no contact order without his wife being here today. It sounds like that's not really an issue at this point. So you signing that piece of paper is just you acknowledging that there's a no contact order in place between you and your soon-to-be ex-wife.
Hopefully.
But I will go ahead and include that because children are involved, that how have they been doing the pickups? Have they been talking to each other up until today or last night?
So briefly, there was a temporary injunction that was ordered, and so there was no communication during that time. But since then, there's been more communication between the two of them.
Okay.
Yes. So we just want, again, only to facilitate exchanges. And again, I feel that through OFW, at least that can be monitored as opposed to text messages, phone calls, things like that.
Sure. So I'll put in the no contact order, but I will put with the exception of communications and exchanges for the minor children.
Right.
And that they can use, it's called, I know, it's Family Wizard?
Our Family Wizard.
Our Family Wizard.
Yes.
Our Family Wizard. So they can use Our Family Wizard for communications. And the only other thing I would include is no weapons or firearms.
Your Honor, state would also ask to comply with DCF in case DCF decides to do something.
I'll just put it in there. The fact that DCF got contacted in January and nothing happened, I can't imagine anything would happen, but I'll just put if DCF does come in, that they need to comply with any orders that DCF puts in place.
Okay, but exchanges can happen just wherever, or do we want to put an address, or does it matter? At a police station?
I would assume that any, how about, could I just put in any public place?
Sure.
Or what do you prefer?
The state's only hesitation is since she's not here.
I know,
There's a
that's why I
no-
was just
There's
asking.
a no contact, so usually there's no contact until that's changed. Arguably be either by a family judge, the DCF order, or the trial judge. So state's just concerned regarding contact, given that she's not here, even if that were to be at.
How about, we'll say this, any contact, they can obviously have contact with each other in regards to discussing the children on the Our Family Wizard and as far as exchanges, but I'll put until the trial judge changes it, let's just put that any exchanges will occur in, where do you guys live? Emerson Park Drive, 32839. How about in any Orange County Sheriff's Office,
Or police station?
or
We've got-
police station?
There's a police substation that they've used before at 6701 South Kirkman, so
Okay,
police station or substation, something like that, if
that would be
okay?
great.
Excellent.
Because the majority of those are all videoed and.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Well, hopefully.
Okay,
I don't think the videos work at OPD's headquarters, but
got it.
anyway. Okay, was there anything further?
Nothing further at this time. Thank you very much. Great to see you, Your Honor.
Good to see you too. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Will I get paperwork? Should I wait for paperwork?
I wouldn't wait for it. They'll probably just email it to you.
So just email it to me. Okay, very good. Okay. So that would then also be available, probably filed on his case once it's available on the clerk's site, right? Okay. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Have a great day. Thank you. I just wanted to-
Wizard. Yes. And just no, do not possess any weapons. Thank
So the next case I have is in Spanish. Let me get the interpreter.
Good morning. This is Daryl Rodriguez, certified Spanish interpreter. Previous sworn.
Hi, good morning. This is Judge Martha Adams. We're out at the Booking and Release Center. I do have two cases this morning in need of a Spanish interpreter. The first case I have is Rosian, R-O-S-E-A-N, Gonzalez. Her case number is 2023 MM 2457AO, and she does have the headset on.
This is the interpreter. Connection's been established.
Good morning, Ms. Gonzalez. You're here on a charge of battery, domestic violence related. It is because the fact that your boyfriend, Joshua Randazzo, is not present here this morning, I do have to issue a no contact order between the two of you. It is my understanding that you qualify for pretrial release, so I can release you to be supervised by pretrial services so that you don't have to post a monetary bond to get out of jail. But those conditions will include the no contact order. That piece of paper that you just signed is just you acknowledging that you've been told you are not to have any contact with him. Now, that does not necessarily mean it's permanent, but it is in effect until the trial judge changes that order. So if you want to have contact with him, or you think he even wants to have contact with you, realize that the only person that can change that is Judge McGinnis. And if you violate that, you do run the risk of being brought back to jail. Now, I'm gonna assume because you guys live together, that you had indicated for pretrial services that you have another place to live. So you do need to maintain a separate residence from him. I will allow you to return one time with law enforcement officers so that you can retrieve any belongings that you may need. I'm also going to order that you not possess any weapons or firearms. And it's my understanding the Department of Children and Families was contacted, and I would need you to abide by any plan they put in place. My last question to you is, were you wanting to hire your own private attorney, or do you want to see if you qualify for the public defender?
The public defender.
Public defender.
Okay, so I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. That green piece of paper does have their information on it. So if you, like I said, want to change any of the conditions of your release, contact your attorney so they can get you back in front of Judge McGinnis. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
No.
Okay, ma'am, good luck to you. Thank you. Okay, the next case I have is Victor Hugo Mora Figueroa. This case number is 2023 MM 2459AO. Sir, I just want to verify, are you Victor Mora?
See?
Yes.
Sir, I have you here on a charge of battery. It's domestic violence related. I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I am finding probable cause for the charge. I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you unless you are going to hire your own attorney. You want the public defender, or would you like to hire your own?
Sin abogado. Sin abogado. Público.
Yes, an attorney, a public one.
Okay, so I will go ahead and appoint them to represent you. Sir, without Ms. Pinto Godoy being present here this morning, I do have to issue a no contact order between the two of you. That means you're not to see her, call her, text her, email her, send her any cards, letters, or gifts, or have anybody contact her on your behalf. That piece of paper that's in front of you, I need you to sign. It's just you acknowledging that you've been made aware of this no contact order.
Tengo una pregunta.
I have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
Yo soy el único hombre que trabaja en la casa. O sea, yo también soy el único que maneja. Ella no puede trabajar porque todavía no hay, puede cuidar a las niñas que tenemos juntos. Al menos quisiera poder eso, darle al menos la plata que está ganando. De una manera en la que no me tenga que especialmente acercar a ella. Pero lamentablemente soy el único que trabaja. O sea, nadie más.
Can you stop him for a second? I'm worried that he's starting to tell me about the facts of the case. Mr. Mora, I won't answer any question for you, but I advise you that because you're in court, on the record, anything you say in here can be used against you. So you have an attorney, and she's going to tell you she doesn't want you to talk to me about the facts of the case. So if you had a question about the conditions of your release, I will certainly talk to you about that. But I'm concerned that you're starting to tell me things that happened about the arrest. Do you have a question about your release?
No le estoy preguntando sobre lo que pasó en el tema, le estoy diciendo que cómo lo hago para entregar la plata que voy a ganar, que estoy ganando.
My question was, what I was talking about is how would I be able to give her the money that I'm earning?
Well, that's something that you would have to figure out. I don't know that you would be able to give her any money right now because you're not allowed to see her. I would assume that if she is in desperate need for money from you, as you're her only source of income, she may contact her attorney to see if we can get this no contact order changed. The problem is until she does that, or until Judge McGinnis, the trial judge, changes the no contact order, that order has to remain in effect. Now, do you have someplace else to live that you can stay?
Yes.
Okay, well, I will allow you to return one time with law enforcement officers so that you can retrieve any belongings that you may need. Otherwise, you need to maintain a separate residence from her. I'm also ordering that you not possess any weapons or firearms. Now, because there were children present and the Department of Children and Families was contacted, I also need you to abide by any order they put in place.
And Your Honor, I did circle the attorney's phone number where he can call and speak with the attorney one-on-one, and maybe they can help work out the money situation.
So, sir, I would just reach out to your attorney. She did circle the phone number where you can reach them. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
I don't think he set a bond.
Oh, I'm sorry, 500. It's a $500 bond. I apologize. Okay, good luck, sir. Thank you. Okay, that was the only Spanish for this morning. Thank you for your help.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Have a great day.
You too. So next would be the in-jail arraignment, Eli Roberto Hernandez.
No second session.
I'm sorry, Judge, the second session, that's fine.
Okay, I just do whatever's put in front of me. So I had some resets were John James Fennell Jr., He refused? Okay.
I'm honestly not sure why he's here. It looks like he had,
I thought he got arrested for trespass on March 12th, and then it looks like every time they kept bringing him to see a judge, he was in medical at the hospital. It looks like maybe he just got out of the hospital.
So I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. This is on case number 2023 MM1706AO, and I'll just stay the bond at $500 and order that he not return to that location. The next case I had was Dennis Edward Nicholas. He refused again? And
No,
he's
we'll
the
wait.
one from yesterday, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so what I'll do is in case number 2023 MO494AO, I am finding probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. I'll stay the bond at $250. May I ask a favor? Is this Tori Honeycutt? Is it possible to go down the line a little bit farther and get his girlfriend, who is Miss Tarantino? I just think it would be easier to do them together. Mr. Honeycutt, are you okay with me bringing Miss Tarantino in here?
Sure.
Okay. I just figured it'd make it easier to talk to you both. Hi, good morning, Miss Tarantino. Are you comfortable with me doing this with him here?
Yes.
I just figured it would be much easier to talk to both of you. Let me just pull, Miss Tarantino, let me just grab your case. So she's in the next set in the midst. You have it? Okay, perfect. Okay, so Mr. Honeycutt, you're here on case number 2023 CF4683AO. Ms. Tarantino, you're here on 2023 MM85AE. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent both of you. If the state picks up the charges, it's quite possible that the public defender will conflict out of one of your cases, and you may get information about another attorney, so I would just stay in contact with your attorney. It's also possible that they may drop the charges altogether, because that kind of is between you guys. Now, normally, when I do these types of cases, I do issue a no contact order between the two parties. So let me ask, I'll just start with Ms. Tarantino. Ms. Tarantino, are you okay having contact with Mr. Honeycutt, or are you in agreement that you want to keep the no contact order in place?
We've been friends for 15 years, so it just doesn't work out as a relationship, obviously. But so I still, yeah, I'm fine talking with him, yes.
Okay. My biggest concern is, I certainly understand you guys have been together for a long time and that you're having some issues right now. My concern is just your safety for both of you to come home and be safe with each other.
That's all I want.
Okay, well, and it's easier said today than in the midst of it. So, Mr. Honeycutt, are you comfortable with Ms. Tarantino coming home and you guys being able to talk civilly? I would issue a no hostile contact order, which means you wouldn't be able to fight or argue or anything like that.
Contact order.
Okay,
Otherwise,
Yes,
we
please.
do need to
Same.
live where a lot of this is coming from, and we're working on that. Person's
Okay.
already in the garage. She's
and I understand there's a lot of stuff going on in your personal life, especially Ms. Tarantino. My concern is that that you guys can't say stuff to each other, because the minute you started talking, she got upset, and that's what I'm afraid is gonna start it all over again. I just don't want the cops coming out to your house again. So let me ask you a question. Would it be easier if I order one of you to go live someplace else right now until you figure this out?
I have nowhere else to go.
You have nowhere else to go.
a month and a half ago, we got her off the lease and she was fully moved out. Now the bills are all in my name and it's only my house. and I did that for a reason, because I didn't want her to move back. She moved back in on a Tuesday when I was at work, all of her things. That's the last arrest happened just after that.
Okay.
We need to be apart.
Well, and
I don't have anywhere else to go either. I'm paying all the bills there. I go to my parents' house to get away if I have to. That's the only option I have.
It's not true.
Well, let's do this. The problem is that when you guys are living together, it's becomes a civil issue because I can't kick her out of the house if she has a key to the house and she has her belongings there. Now, let me ask you a question. If you're telling me that everything is in your name, that all of the bills are in your name, and she had absolutely no property there until the night that this occurred.
I must have misspoke. It was a different charge with different day, a month and a half ago when the cops came out.
Okay.
We were already at a no contact that was knocked down to a no violent contact.
Okay. And those charges have, I assume, have since gone away. So let me ask you a question. Up until this occurred, last night, had you guys been living together for that month and a half?
Yeah, she got kicked out of the other place she was living, and she came back, and I was against it the whole time.
Okay.
In fact, she had a storage unit, and her stuff is in my garage, not in my house right now.
No, I'm getting very clearly that you agree that the two of you need to split up. And I don't think I don't think she disagrees with you. I think what she's concerned about is having a place to live in the next couple of days until she can get out of your house.
Okay.
And so I'm just asking, are you gonna be civil enough to each other to allow that to happen?
Yes, as long as she's leaving, I'm totally cool. If you can say a week, 2 weeks, I'm good.
Okay.
A year now, I'm trying to get her out. Sorry.
Ms. Tarantino, obviously, you cannot just go find a place. I mean, sure, you might be able to find a place today, but you need at least a couple days to get some stuff out. Okay, so if I say this, can I say this, Mr. Honeycutt? If I let the two of you go back to living together and you have the no hostile contact, if she really starts to irritate you or you guys start to get that way, can you leave and go to stay at your mom's house for a night?
And in fact, if you can give her a time frame, like a week or something, I'll just go stay there the entire time. I already have a bag packed in my truck, like weekend bag.
Would you like me to do that? Ask him to stay at his mom's house until you're able to move out? But I would have to give you a specific time period.
I'm a very peaceful person. I just lost my sister. I went through a funeral, just got hired yesterday at a job. I have so much on my plate. All right, I do everything for this man as much as I can. He just tosses my stuff around. He abuses me mentally and physically. But still, at the end of the day, I am very forgiving. And I just want to remain friends, but nothing more.
I understand, and I understand, that's why I said I know that you've got a lot going on personally, and I can imagine that when you are upset and you have a lot on your plate, because you're living together, it directly affects you. The problem is, I could sit here with you for 3 hours and we could talk about your relationship. I'm not really a counselor, though I feel like after I've done this for about 20 years, I feel like a counselor. But I just need to make sure that I can get you guys, my only job is to get you out of here because you don't belong in jail. You've been punished, you've been picked up. That's up to the state to decide if they're gonna go further on charges. My only job is to let you back out into the public, but without having any issues. What I don't wanna have is, and I'm certainly not saying this, is that you go home and get into a fight and one of you shoots the other one, because guess what? It won't be about the two of you, it'll be about the jackass that let you out of jail and said, how the hell did you let him out of jail when they were still arguing like that? So I just need to know that you're gonna be calm enough with each other that you cannot end up back in jail or hurt each other. Okay. So let's do this. I'm just gonna say that you're gonna have no hostile contact between each other. I think, let's see. Where did his paperwork go? Do they both qualify or no?
No, you're.
No, his charge will disqualify him, but she does.
There we go. So, Mr. Honeycutt, let's do this. So for one thing, there's two the officer charged you with 2 counts. I don't necessarily think there's PC for 2 counts. So I'm just gonna set the 1 count at $1,000. Count 2 will be an ROR. I'm gonna order that you not have any hostile contact with Ms. Tarantino, that you not possess any weapons or firearms. And then Ms. Tarantino, you said she does or does not?
She does.
She does. Do you, since you have a lot going on, do you want me to release you on pretrial release, or do you want just a $500 bond?
No, pretrial releases.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and just release you onto pretrial release. The only condition is you have no hostile contact with him and that you not possess any weapons or firearms. Okay. Good luck. I know it's hard.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Ms. Potts is mental health. This is the mother-daughter. Do you want me to reset her or waive?
Your Honor, I will waive.
Okay, so,
She qualifies for PTR.
yeah, I'll go ahead and, I'm finding probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office. This is in case number 2023 CF 4685AO. I'll release her on pretrial release. The conditions are she's not to have any contact with her daughter. I felt like I needed a tree to diagram to figure out all the parties involved. It sounded like a Dynasty episode more than a, so I'll just put no contact with her daughter. Obviously, she's gonna have to maintain a separate residence from her. She'll be allowed 1 time with law enforcement officers to retrieve any belongings. She's not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm also gonna include that she not possess any alcoholic beverages or illicit substances, and she be tested randomly while she's on PTR to make sure she's abiding by that condition. Okay, and this is Frances Rivera? Okay. Ms. Rivera, good morning. You're here on case number 2023 CF 4659AO. So I did review the charging affidavit in this case. I am finding that there's probable cause. I'll go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Now, you are being also held on the 2023 CT 1549AO, which is DUI and Division 84 with Judge Steve Jewett. I'm not going to take any action on that case. Just keep in mind that every time you get arrested, you run the risk of having your bond completely revoked and being held without any bond at all. Because I don't really see these two necessarily having anything to do with each other, I won't take any action, but obviously be aware that if you continue to go out and get arrested for charges, that's obviously not going to be a good idea. In regards to this case, though, I will set your bond at $3,500 on count 1, $150 on count 2, $100 on count 3. Obviously, without your boyfriend here this morning, I do have to issue a no contact order between the two of you. You have someplace else you can stay? Okay, so we'll go ahead that you maintain a separate residence from him. I will allow you to return 1 time to your home with him so that you can retrieve any belongings that you may need. But that has to be done with law enforcement officers. I'm also going to order that you not possess any weapons or firearms. Now, the child that's involved, that's his son, correct?
He has a son. He's 14, but he wasn't there. He was at school. My son as well was at school. They were not there.
Okay. Where is your son now?
He's with his father.
Okay, perfect. That's all. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't leaving your child with him.
No.
Without any access to him. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, ma'am. Good luck.
DCF was notified, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. So ma'am, can I just tell you one thing? DCF may have been involved, so just abide by any plan that they put in place, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Good luck. Thank you. Okay, good morning. Are you Natasha Rivera?
Natasha Rivera, yes.
And Ms. Rivera, you are here on case number 2022 CF3422AO. This is a warrant that was signed by Judge Strobridge. It's for violations of your conditions of release in that case. She has set the bond at none, and the only person that can change that is Judge Strobridge. So you're gonna need to get with your attorney to see if they can get you in front of her to get you a bond hearing.
Can I say one thing?
No, talk to her.
I have a question about the court date with Ms. Stowbridge. I have a court date in Lee County on this 24th that I have to appear for. Is there any, like, when will I see this judge? She's,
As soon as you call your attorney and tell her, him or her, that you need to talk to the judge because you want to get out.
No, I'm letting them know right now as well.
Okay. So it sounds like she's gonna contact,
he was supposed to be here.
well, she's here. I can't have my PDs running all over the county because they'll go crazy. So that's why she's here. She represents the Office of the Public Defender. So technically, she's in his place for right now. Who is her assigned attorney?
Let me go back. I was writing him the note. Hold on, let me see.
I'm just Kyle Blythe. What do you have?
And that's only if he's still in front of Judge Strobridge. The
I
problem
have
is,
Kyle as well, Your Honor.
it is, okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'm writing him a note right now.
Okay, so it sounds like what they'll do is try to get you in front of Judge Strobridge. Today's Wednesday. She loves working late, so you could see her later today, tomorrow, Friday. And hopefully they'll get you in front of her, but she's the only one that can take the no bond away from you. Okay? Yep. Was there anything else you needed to tell me or your attorney?
Yeah, so quietly, or I don't mind. When I caught the possession charge and then I talked. Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'll let him know to come see you.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning, ma'am. Are you Brittany Halliday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Halliday, you are here on case number 2023 MM172AA. I have reviewed the charging affidavit in this case. I am finding that there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And then I'm going to assume that in the box is Mr. Michael Hennessy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Hennessy, can I get you to raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Hennessy, you realize that Ms. Halliday is currently out on bond in case number 2023 MM144AA. That's a battery domestic violence related. I believe you were the alleged victim in that case, but most importantly, Ms. Halliday was specifically told that she was not to have any contact with you. So you can imagine that when you guys get pulled over and you're in the car together, it's not something that the officer has any control over. He's got to take her to jail. Now, are you wanting to, I'm assuming that something's happened that maybe you guys want to get back together or something like that?
Yeah, we've been together 17 years. I'm 34, she's 33. We've been together 17 years. I got 2 kids at the house, 12 and 6. I want to make it work, for them and everything, so.
Okay. And just so you know, none of us in this room are trying to pull you guys apart. My concern is the safety for the both of you and your children and most importantly, the people around you. The no contact order is not something that's definitely permanent. The problem is that you run the risk of getting arrested until we change the no contact order. So, I don't. What was the state's position? What are your thoughts on this?
Your Honor, the out on bond battery occurred 12, 13, 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure if Mr. Hennessy was present at that.
I don't think he was. That's why the no contact order got put in place.
Oh no, yeah, I missed that one. I never heard anything about it. By the time I heard about that, I was supposed to be here for court for her. It was too late.
Yeah. And that's okay. And Ms. Halliday, just, certainly not assuming that this is ever going to happen again, but if it does, just realize you just needed to get in touch with your attorney. Have you talked to Mr. Kiefer at all since you got arrested? Okay. Well, she's going to give you a piece of paper and she's going to circle the phone number. And if you reach out to Mr. Kiefer, he is your attorney that's assigned to you on this case. Part of it is he's got a lot of cases and he just doesn't know like which ones people want things differently to happen. So you've got to be the one that lets him know that. So were you thinking, Ms. Fleming, that you wanted, could I double the bond or? Now that, I think part of it is just having a conversation with both of them in the same room, that we now know what we need to do.
Understood, Your Honor. May I ask Mr. Hennessy a few questions real fast?
Absolutely.
Are you afraid of her?
No.
Has anything like this, any prior battery incidences ever happened between you two before?
It has, but no more than like actual active violence. More like aggressive arguing. The older we have got, I have to say, obviously we had an incident 2 weeks ago, but it's been a while. You know, you get older, you get wiser. You start doing things right. You start learning. You know, from trial through error. You know, I want to be with her. I don't feel fear for my life. I felt like that night that incident happened there was just a case of her being intoxicated, and you know, when we're not drinking, when you know none of that's into play, we don't have issues. And I feel like that night she was drinking, and that's when it escalated. So before it got to any kind of violent act of battery, is when the police was called, and I even, as you can see on the police report, it says that I don't list her as a violent offender or do jail time. I don't think that would help it. I see more as like a counseling thing with a couple, alcohol and that nature.
And the only other question, are you afraid for your children at all? I'm sorry.
No.
That's fine, Your Honor. I mean,
okay.
She appears to have really no other criminal history, any other battery-related history, so.
Okay.
Mr. Hennessy's here, so.
So Ms. Halliday, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and take no action on the case that you're currently out on bond for. So you'll get released for that. As for this charge, I am going to set the bond in the amount of $1,000. I am going to order that you have no hostile contact with Mr. Hennessy. That being said, since I'm taking no action on the charge that you're out on bond, I guess the only other thing I could do is maybe change the conditions of the out on bond, because then I don't have to force her to go back to Judge McGinnis.
That's what I was gonna ask you, Your Honor. If we could modify the no contact in the out on bond, to a no hostile contact order.
The state have any objection to that?
No, Your Honor, not given the victim's testimony and not given this violation. It doesn't seem to be another violent offense, so.
Okay. So I guess when I say I'm taking no action, that's kind of not true in the sense that in case number 2023 MM144AA, I will not revoke the bond. I'll leave you out on bond with your $250 bond, but I will change the condition of your release from a no contact order to a no hostile contact order. So no fighting, no arguing, anything like that. and that's on the 2023 MM144AA. And then as to this charge, the 2023 MM172AA, the bond will be $1,000, no hostile contact, and no weapons and no firearms. Okay, anything else, sir?
No, that's all I was hoping for,
Okay. Yep, she should be released in a couple hours, so you may want to talk to the COs about how you can pick her up and stuff.
Okay, now, is she getting released, or she has another bond that she has to?
She does have another bond for this case, yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
All right,
thank you. Okay, good morning, are you Jason, is it Reisman?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Reisman, you are here on case number 2023 MM2445AO. This is a charge of battery domestic violence. Let me ask you, and I don't want you to tell me anything about the facts of the case, but the way I'm understanding from the charging affidavit, you and your wife are still living together at this Ridley Avenue address, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are you in the process of, are you just having relationship issues? Are you in the process of getting divorced, separated?
We're in the process of getting divorced.
Okay. Is there someplace else that you can stay until we kind of get this going a little bit more?
Yes.
Okay. My last question, oh, actually, I don't actually need to ask you that. So I'm gonna go ahead, sir, and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release?
You wanted a monetary bond, it says, right?
Oh, you want a monetary bond instead?
Or I just need to go. I need to get out of here, yes.
No, I understand that, but do
What
you
is the
want to,
difference? I'm sorry.
yeah, do you want to explain the difference to him?
He would like the monetary bond, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Reisman, what I'll do is I'll do a $500 bond. The conditions are that you not have any contact with your wife at this time. That means no calling her, texting her, seeing her. That piece of paper that's in front of you, the white one, I do need you to sign that. That's just you acknowledging that you've been told that there is a no contact order. If you violate the no contact order, that can result in you being picked up for new law violations. Now, if you want to change it, or you think she wants to change it, it's something that would have to be done in front of Judge McGinnis, the trial judge. I will also order that if you need to retrieve any belongings from the home that you share with her, that you can do so one time with law enforcement officers. But you do need to maintain a separate residence. I don't want you to possess any weapons or firearms, and I don't think. Sorry. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay? Okay. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
How do I go set up that with an officer to get like my car?
You can just call the non-emergency number for where you are and just tell them that you have a no contact order and that you need law enforcement to escort you to your house so you can get your belongings.
Okay.
Okay? Opposite door. Okay, good morning, sir. Are you David Brian Wright?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Mr. Wright, you, oh, sorry, that's not your paper either. There we go. Okay, so you are here on case number 2023 MM171AA. I do have a two-charge affidavit for resisting and battery. I'm going to assume that in the box is your wife, but I unfortunately, because they did retract your name for Marcy's Law, I don't know your name. What is your name?
My name is Kayla Atowski.
Kayla Atowski? Okay. Ms. Atowski, can I get you to raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. So, Ms. Atowski, you've heard, obviously, that normally in these cases, I issue a no contact order. Are you wanting me to keep that no contact order between you, or were you wanting him to come home and have a no hostile contact order?
Yeah, that's not necessary. Just a no hostile.
No hostile? Okay. So I did Mr. Wright, your bigger concern is that you're currently out on bond in case number 2023 CF 4516AO. I did review that charging affidavit. It doesn't really have anything to do with this case. So I'll go ahead and take no action on it, but I do need to make you aware that obviously every time you're out on bond for something, if you get picked up for new law violations, you always run the risk of being held without any bond because you're violating those conditions by picking up new charges. So just try to stay out of trouble till you start resolving some of this stuff. I will go ahead, sir, and set your bond at $500 on count 1, $100 on count 2. And then the only condition will be that you have no hostile contact with your wife, that you not possess any weapons or firearms. And it does look like DCF was notified, so if DCF contacts you with any plan, just make sure you abide by that.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions, ma'am?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Okay, you both are all set. Thank you so much. Good luck. Hi, good afternoon, or good morning. Are you Nikisha Jackson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Jackson, I have you here on 2 cases. They're both out-of-county warrants. The first case is a warrant out of Seminole County. This is in regards to a violation of probation. It looks like your bond was set at $750 on that case. And then the second one is out of Polk County. That is it just says it's a bond. I don't know. It has a bond of $1,000. So you have bonds on both cases. So you are able to either bond out on those monetary amounts, or you can wait for Polk or Seminole to come and pick you up. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
I was told that the one in Seminole County, the $750, it's a cash bond, so I can't pay the 10% on that one.
Oh,
I'm not sure if you see it.
let's see, personal ID. I don't see anything in the paperwork that says that Judge Soto, ordered that, but I don't know, I'm sure that's something that they sometimes do, but wouldn't it be in the teletype?
Because that's what they was said, that they told downstairs, the administrative downstairs called the Bells bondsman and told them that they couldn't finish with the bond until we brought the $750, because they said it was for cash.
I'll be honest with you, I don't really understand all the stuff that the bondsmen do. That's something also that they could just want to do. I don't see anything in the paperwork that says that, so it may be that it's just that bondsman. You may want to try a different bondsman and see if it changes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck, thank you. Yeah. Hi, good morning, are you Joshua Nieves?
Yes.
Mr. Nieves, you are here, hold on one second. This is a warrant out of North Carolina? Yes, Halifax County, not FHP, North Carolina State Patrol. It does have no, it doesn't. So it says, I assume it's a no bond because I don't see any monetary amounts. So, sir, what will happen is the fugitive unit's going to get with you and see if you're in agreement to being transported or extradited to North Carolina. If you disagree, they'll talk to you about the process. And at some point, you'll be brought before me again if you're in disagreement. If you're in agreement, they'll just go ahead and notify North Carolina and they'll come pick you up as soon as possible. Okay? Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Transfer me. I'm willing to go.
Yeah, they'll come by and see you today probably, and as soon as you tell them that you're willing to go, then they'll arrange it with North Carolina to come and get you. Okay, thank you.
They did have cash only in there, but I still didn't see it in the warrant, but they have it listed there.
Okay, okay. Good morning, sir. Are you Christopher Joe Torres?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Torres, you are here on a warrant out of Brevard County for a violation of probation. This has a no bond status on it, so Brevard County does have 24 hours to come and pick you up. Hopefully, they will do that as soon as possible. Okay, good luck, sir. Thank you. Wager RC? Refusal, you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so in Mr. RC's case, 2022 CF 13058AO, this is a violation of probation, and a new case, okay. So on the violation of probation, I will appoint the public defender's office. His bond has been set at none. And then on the new law violation, 2023 MM 2462AO, it's a trespass. I'll appoint the public defender's office, and I will order that he not return back to that 7-Eleven. Okay?
Thank you.
And this is Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Oh, on the trespass, yes, ma'am. So stay the bond on the trespass at 500. I apologize, thank you. Okay, Mr. Johnson, good morning. You're here on 2022 CF 10614AO. I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Judge Nunez Navarro did sign a warrant for a violation of probation. She has set your bond at none. So we'll get you some information on that green piece of paper so you can contact your attorneys and see if they can get you a bond hearing in front of her, okay? Okay, good luck, sir, thank you. Herc Lupo? Okay, good morning, Mr. Lupo. You are here on case number 2021 CF 16273AO. I will go ahead and appoint the public defender's office to represent you. This is a violation of probation. The bond has been set at none. I will go ahead and, she's giving you a piece of paper that has the PD's phone number on it, so you can contact them and try to get you back in front of the trial judge to see if you can get a bond hearing on this case. Okay, you're all set. Thank you.
Do I have permission to speak, Your Honor?
You can, but why don't you talk to her real quick? Okay, good morning. Are you Nathaniel Lynch?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. You're here on case number 2020 CF 10291AO. This is a violation of probation that was signed by Judge Madrigal. He has set your bond at none. Did you want me to appoint the public defender's office, or are you hiring an attorney to represent you?
I currently have an attorney representing me,
Okay, who is your attorney?
Mr. Lejean.
Okay. And does Mr. Lejean know that the VOP came in, or has?
We received it a while back, but I haven't been to court. I actually was picked up in December 13th, and this is the first time I'm coming on a VOP hearing.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, it looks like they just served the VOP on you. So I would, but have you been in custody that entire time?
Yeah, since
Okay.
December 13th.
And Mr. Lejean's aware of that?
Yes, ma'am. And I received a bond, but I don't have a bond on my VOP nor a reinstatement. So I was going to request if I could have a reasonable bond or reinstatement hearing.
So what you need to do is the only person that can give you a bond on the violation of probation is the trial judge that you're in front of. So I would let Mr. Lejean know now that they've served the VOP on you, he can now try to get you in front of that judge to get you a bond hearing.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Michael McCollum?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good morning, Mr. McCollum. You're here on case number 2020 CF 2006AO. This, I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. This is a warrant for a violation of probation. The bond has been set at none. So she's gonna give you a piece of paper to contact your attorney so they can try to get you a bond hearing in front of Judge Blackman. Okay, good luck, sir. Thank you. Jason Medina Barrios. Okay, good morning, sir. You're here on case number 2022 CF 5594AO. I will go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. This was a VOP warrant with a no bond status. She's gonna give you some information so you can get with your attorney to try to get you back in front of Judge Strobridge for a bond hearing, okay?
Okay.
Good luck, sir. Thank you. Joni Asenat?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Mr. Asenat. Miss Sweet contacted my office this morning and said she was gonna try to be here, but then she told me she didn't think you were here. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but it's my understanding she was gonna be here for you. Do you want me to appoint the public defender right now, or do you want me to keep her on your, or do you want me to assume she'll file a notice?
That's my private attorney, so yes.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna take away the affidavit so they don't end up charging you $50 for the PD.
Thank you.
So you do have the two cases. The new charge is under 2023 CF 4612AO. It's a possession of cocaine. I am finding probable cause. I will go ahead and keep the bond set at $1,000 on that charge. The problem is that does violate the probation in case number 2021 CF 218AO. That's in Division 12. So Ms. Sweet's gonna need, because that bond's been set at none, she's gonna need to get you a bond hearing in front of that trial judge to see if we can get you out on that charge.
You don't bond at all?
Nope, because it's a VOP, so the only person that can do it is the trial judge that has the case. But I have a feeling since Ms. Sweet is already aware of it, she's probably already setting that up right now.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Okay, so I have the 33-day motions. Are you ready? Okay. The first case I have is Danelle Farrell McLean, 23 CF 3247AO.
Granted, notice and on filing.
John Paul Casido Franco, 23 CF 3217AO.
Granted, notice and on filing.
Daniel Sebastian Cabrera, 23 CF 918AO.
Granted, notice and on filing.
Daraha Adaro Tinsley, 23 CF 3205AO.
Denied, and information was filed.
Ishmael Khalid Harrison, 2023 MM 1703AO.
Granted, notice and on filing.
Victoria Lee Walters, 23 MM 1622AO.
Denied, and information was filed.
Teeman David Trayvon Booth, 23 CF 2370AO.
Granted, notice and on filing.
Dwight Malcolm Prentice, 2023 MM 1683AO.
Denied, and information was filed.
Aubrey Nicole Hale, 23 CF 3198AO.
Granted, notice and on filing.
Hey, Miss Sweet, let me finish this real quick and I'll tell you. Sisay Tesfamarian, 23 CF 2849AO.
Denied, and information was filed.
Okay. Miss Sweet, I wasn't sure. Miss McGee said that you thought for some reason Mr. Osnott wasn't here. I just saw him. I just told him that the VOP has a no bond. I gave him $1,000 bond on the cocaine and said you would probably try to get him back in front of the trial judge on the VOP to get him a bond hearing. Yeah, I literally just saw him. Is that okay? Was there anything else you wanted to tell me? There was. I can't.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he going upstairs. Well, I appreciate y'all.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I just, when Lori said you didn't think he was here, and I was like, he is here, but. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me know if you have any problems getting in front of the trial judge.
good, May.
He keeps eating his watermelon.
I've learned my lesson.
Okay, I think that's everything for this morning. When would you guys like to come back for the hellacious afternoon we're gonna have?
State's already conveyed everything to defense. You can try.
So it's 10:34.
I believe Miss George said 12:30.
Let's see.
Is 12:30 okay with the COs? Or do you want longer? You'll be fine? Okay, okay, we'll come back at 12:30 then. Thank you.
I believe Mr. Martinez needs the aid of an interpreter.
PD appointed.
Good afternoon. This is Claudia Villalba.
Good afternoon, Madam Interpreter. I've called 2023 CT 1671, State versus Guerra Martinez.
Just a minute, Your Honor, please. Your Honor, the interpreter needs a minute to connect to the headphones, please.
There's no headphones.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay.
We're at the jail.
Yes, the interpreter is ready, sir.
All right. Sir, would you please state your name and date of birth for the record?
Señor, por favor, diga usted su nombre completo y su fecha de nacimiento para las actas.
Juan José Guerra Martínez, 11 de enero del 84.
Joan Jose Guerra Martinez, 11184.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias,
Did you
señor.
hear and understand the rights described to you in the video that played before I called your case?
¿Escuchó usted y entendió los derechos que se le explicaron a usted en el video antes de yo llamar su caso?
Sí.
Yes.
You've sought an appointment of the public defender, and the public defender is appointed to represent you for the purposes of this first appearance.
Usted solicitó los servicios del defensor público y se le nombra al defensor público con el fin de llevar a cabo esta primera comparecencia. Okay.
You've been arrested on a single charge of operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license, which is a first-degree misdemeanor.
A usted se le ha arrestado debido a un cargo. El cargo es de manejar un vehículo sin tener una licencia de conducir válida, el cual es un delito menor o falta de primer grado.
I understand the defense wishes to be heard with respect to probable cause.
Tengo entendido que la defensa desea dirigirse al juez con respecto al asunto del motivo fundado.
Yes, Your Honor. In the four corners of the affidavit, I see nowhere where it indicates, well, he's charged with federally modified list, Your Honor. But it does indicate in the capacity that my client has an inactive driver's license. Nowhere where it indicates that that driver's license is invalid.
Just a second, please. Sí, su señoría, en ningún lugar dentro de las cuatro esquinas del affidavit acusatorio dice de que mi cliente no tenía una licencia de conducir válida, pero tenía una licencia de conducir internacional y no hay nada que indique de que esta licencia de conducir no sea válida en la Florida.
Mr. Paul, what says the state?
Señor
Honor.
Paul, ¿qué dice la fiscalía?
Your Honor, Florida does not recognize international driver's licenses, and pursuant to Florida Statute 322.031, a person who establishes residency must get a Florida driver's license within 30 days.
Su señoría, el estado de la Florida no reconoce una licencia de conducir válida. La ley de la Florida 322.031 dice de que una persona que establece su lugar de domicilio en el estado tiene un plazo de 30 días para obtener una licencia de conducir.
Mr. Wilson, do you have any citation to any authority that an international driver's license is legal?
No, Your Honor.
Right.
Señor abogado defensor, ¿tiene usted algún tipo de caso precedente o autoridad que diga de que una licencia de conducir internacional es válida en el estado de la Florida? No, su señoría.
Your Honor, if I might just, I just have one more thing, Your Honor. I would just indicate that, there's no indication in the arrest affidavit that, the officer asked if he had a Florida driver's license. Because it was not provided, does not mean there was a checking state out. There's no indication that he checked, FCIC, and that he did not have a Florida driver's license. We don't know if it's in the arrest affidavit.
Otra cosa más que me gustaría decir, su señoría, si me permite, es que no hay indicación alguna en el affidavit del arresto de que el agente de la policía le haya preguntado a mi cliente si él tenía una licencia de conducir válida de la Florida. Así que el hecho de que él no haya proporcionado una licencia de conducir válida, según el sistema FCIC, esto no aparece en ningún lugar en el affidavit del arresto.
You should have led with that argument. What's the state's response to that?
No response, Your Honor.
¿Cuál es la respuesta de la Fiscalía al respecto? No tengo respuesta alguna a esto, su señoría.
All right. I'm not convinced that the production of an international driver's license defeats probable cause. I don't think probable cause affidavit needs to contain law necessarily as opposed to fact. So I'm not convinced that PC will not lie by virtue of that. However, I do think that the absence in the charging affidavit of any allegation that the database was checked and the defendant did not appear to have a driver's license based on.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
That.
Your Honor, the interpreter needs the opportunity to interpret that. It's a very long utterance. No he quedado convencido de ninguna manera de que la presentación de una licencia de conducir internacional no satisfaga el requisito para establecer de que existe un motivo fundado y que el affidavit acusatorio no lo contenga en ningún lugar necesariamente. I'm so sorry, Your Honor. Would you kindly repeat what you said after not contain necessarily the affidavit?
The affidavit need not contain conclusions of law.
El affidavit no tiene que tener conclusión alguna sobre las determinaciones sobre la ley.
The court will find that there is no probable cause to believe that he violated operating a motor vehicle without a driver's license.
Este tribunal concluye de que no hay motivo fundado para creer de que no incumplió con la ley debido a que no tenía una licencia de conducir válida.
Due to the absence of any allegation that the arresting officer
debido a la ausencia de cualquier tipo de alegación hecha por el oficial que condujo el arresto.
Check the applicable database.
Y que se buscó en el banco de datos pertinente.
Court finds there is not probable cause and the defendant is released on his own recognizance as to this charge.
Y por lo tanto no se ha establecido el motivo fundado y por lo tanto al acusado se le va a dejar en libertad bajo palabra por la falta de motivo fundado con respecto a este caso.
Anything else, State?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Watson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that
Algo
concludes
más
your
por-
first appearance.
Algo más por parte de la Fiscalía, no su señoría, algo más por parte del señor Watson, no su señoría. Así que de esta manera concluye esta audiencia inicial. Your Honor, may the interpreter please have the case number again?
23 CT 1671.
1671?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next
Is that all for the interpreter or do you have another case, Your Honor?
No, that is
Thank you.
Your Honor, I believe there might be one more case over there.
Will you stay on the line? Are you still there, Madam Interpreter?
Yes, sir, I'm still here. Joaquín de Jesús Rodríguez.
Yes.
Case numbers 2006 CT 142 and 143, the state of Florida versus Joaquim de Jesus Rodriguez.
Your Honor, the interpreter couldn't hear the number, I'm sorry, the year.
2006.
Thank you very much. 2006, 142 and 143. Bien, este es el caso de la Florida en contra de Joaquín de Jesús Rodríguez, números de causa 2006, 142 y 2006, 143.
Please state your name and date of birth.
Diga por favor su nombre y su fecha de nacimiento.
Joaquim de Jesus Rodrigues, 11 de janeiro 65.
Your Honor, the defendant speaks Portuguese.
Hello?
All right.
Joaquim de Jesus Rodrigues.
Señor, ¿fala portugués?
Sim.
Yes, Your Honor, he speaks Portuguese.
Your Honor, he indicated to me that he spoke Spanish and Portuguese, so I'm not sure.
Sir, do you understand Spanish?
Little bit.
Did you hear the video and see the video explaining you your rights before I called your case? If you could interpret, I'm trying to determine his level of understanding Spanish.
¿Tuvo usted la oportunidad de ver y entendió usted los videos, los derechos que le explicaron a usted en el video que le mostraron anteriormente?
Sim.
Yes.
Did you understand everything that I said just now?
¿Acaba de entender usted todas las cosas que le acabo de decir ahora mismo?
Sim.
Yes.
State, are you comfortable proceeding in Spanish?
I'm comfortable, Your Honor, yes.
Your
Mr.
Honor, the
Watson?
interpreter does not feel comfortable.
I'm sorry?
Your Honor, the interpreter does not feel comfortable. The defendant may be able to understand Spanish, but the interpreter may not be able to understand his Portuguese. This interpreter is only certified to interpret into Spanish.
So,
Madam Interpreter, he shouldn't need to speak, because judge, it's not a county warrant, so judge is just gonna let him know what his bond is.
I'm sorry, the interpreter cannot hear you, Madam Clerk.
so all that's going to happen, this is an out-of-county warrant, so there'll be limited exchange with Mr. De Jesus Rodriguez. So far, he's answered yes, C. So I'd like to proceed, and you can just tell me if he says something that makes you uncomfortable.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Wasson, just for the record, did Mr. De Jesus Rodriguez tell you he spoke Spanish?
Yes, Your Honor, he indicated that he spoke Portuguese and Spanish. Although obviously, Your Honor, I'm not a Spanish speaker, so I'll need to confirm whether or not.
Y señor Watson, el señor de Jesús Rodríguez le confirmó a usted. Just one second, Your Honor, please.
He appointed? No.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Yes.
This is Astrid from the manager for the interpreting department. Our interpreter is telling me that the person is Portuguese and she is not understanding him or her.
Hey Astrid, it's Mariola from the clerk's office. So all we're asking for her to interpret is what judge is gonna tell him because it's an out-of-county warrant. So the defendant shouldn't need to speak because there's nothing for him to speak on.
But they still should be able to understand what is being said to them.
He understands Spanish. That's what he's indicated to us and to the public defendant that's at the jail.
He hasn't said anything up until this point that she has not understood because the only things that he's said up to this point have been his name, date of birth, and the word yes.
One moment, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the interpreter is back. I just needed to run that by the supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. De Jesus Rodriguez, you've been arrested on 2 outstanding warrants in Orange County.
Señor de Jesús Rodríguez, a usted lo han arrestado por 2 órdenes de arresto pendientes en el condado de Orange.
For failures to appear on traffic offenses,
Por no haber comparecido por infracciones de tránsito,
of reckless driving and having no valid driver's license.
por haber estado manejando de una manera temeraria y por no tener una licencia de conducir válida.
Do you understand?
¿Entiende?
Yes.
Yes.
Probable cause to believe that you willfully and knowingly failed to appear for those charges has already been determined.
Ya se ha determinado de que existe un motivo fundado para determinar de que usted a sabiendas y voluntariamente faltó a esas citaciones.
Did you understand what I just said?
¿Entendió lo que acabo de decir?
Sí, yo lo entendí. Mira, yo no me acuerdo, yo fui raptado, yo no me acuerdo que fue 2016. Y el patrón habló con...
I'm sorry, Your Honor, the interpreter is not understanding completely, except that the defendant said, yes, I do understand, but I don't remember, and that the interpreter did not understand, and then the defendant said something about his boss calling the court.
Okay. Can you afford an attorney, Mr. De Jesus Rodriguez?
Señor de Jesús Rodríguez, ¿puede pagarle usted a su propio abogado?
Sí.
Yes.
You have an attorney here today.
¿Tiene usted un abogado aquí hoy?
No, yo tengo que contratar un abogado.
No, I have to hire an attorney.
Temporarily appoint the public defender for Mr. Wasson. Mr. Wasson, did you wish to be heard?
Se le nombra a usted provisionalmente un defensor público al señor Watson. Señor Watson, ¿desea usted decir algo? No, su señoría.
Bond has already been set as to each case in the amount of $2,000.
Ya se le ha fijado la fianza por cada uno de los casos en la cantidad de $2,000 cada uno.
The court will stay the bond in those amounts.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, would you kindly repeat that?
The court will take no action on the bonds, and they will remain as previously set.
El juez no va a tomar decisión alguna ni hará nada con respecto a estas fianzas. Estas fianzas seguirán en pie de la manera en que se impusieron ya anteriormente.
Y una pregunta, si yo pago la fianza, yo salgo de la cárcel.
Perdón, repita.
Si yo pago la fianza, yo salgo.
If I pay the bond, will I get out of jail?
You'll be advised through your attorney. That concludes the first appearance in this case.
Eso se lo van a informar a usted por medio de su abogado. Ha concluido su primera comparecencia. Okay. Your Honor, is that all for the interpreter?
Mr. Wasson, anything else requiring an interpreter?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, can I please have your name?
Alvaro, A-L-V-A-R-O.
Thank you very much.
2023 CF338, the state of Florida versus John Lopez Cruz.
PD appointed.
Sir, would you please state your name and date of birth?
Gian Lopez, 06/20/2001.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lopez. You viewed a video before I called your case that explained your rights. Did you view that video and understand those rights?
Yes.
All right. You've been arrested on a warrant out of Osceola County on a single charge of witness tampering in case number 2023 CF338. You've sought appointment of the public defender, and the public defender is appointed as your lawyer for the purposes of this first appearance. Mr. Wasson PC probable cause was already determined by the judge issuing that warrant, and having reviewed the affidavit for arrest warrant myself, I'll continue the finding of probable cause for the charged offense. Mr. Wasson, did you wish to be heard as the bond?
Yes, Your Honor, we just asked for a reasonable bond to Lopez Cruz, employment and hopes to maintain the employment and be able to fight the charge, Your Honor.
State?
Your Honor, I would just ask that the bond be stayed as indicated in the warrant.
That warrant charged tampering with the witness in a third-degree felony investigation. The state has charged witness tampering. I thought I saw first degree at some point. I take that back. It's tampering in an F3, which is an F2. Court will set bond in the amount of $2,500. Conditions of the defendant's release are that he have no contact with the alleged victim in the underlying offense, 2022 CF 3489 and 2022 CF 14175, and that no contact order will extend to the alleged victim's family as well. So, the defendant, when the alleged offense occurred in 2023 CF 338, was out on bond in those two cases I mentioned. Does the state wish to be heard as to those cases?
Yes, Your Honor, since the court's found PC on a new felony, we would ask that his bond be revoked in those pending cases.
Mr. Watson, response.
Your Honor, we would ask for bond to be stayed in that case, so Mr. Lopez was able to maintain.
Court having found probable cause to believe the defendant committed a new criminal offense of witness tampering in 2023 CF 338, his release will be revoked in 2022 CF 3489 and in 2022 CF 14175. Further release on bond can be considered by the judges presiding over the cases in those divisions.
Next court date for 23 CF 338, April 18th, in courtroom 4F at 8:30 a.m. Judges to make a check
$2,500, I believe. The next case is 2023 CF 158, the state of Florida versus Morris McRae.
Media appointed.
Sir, would you please state your name and date of birth? Thank you, Mr. McRae. A video was shown before I called your case explaining the rights that you have. Did you view that video and do you understand those rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. McRae, thank you. You're here after your arrest on a warrant out of Osceola County for your failure to appear for arraignment on a charge of petty theft with 2 prior theft convictions. Court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. The court issuing that warrant has already determined that you willfully and knowingly failed to appear for court for your arraignment on that charge and has set the bond in that warrant at none. The court takes no action on the bond and stays it at none. Any further hearing dates?
Next court date, April 17th, in courtroom 5A at 8:45 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. McRae. The next case, 2022 MM441 and 2023 CF868, the state of Florida versus Vincent Morales.
Media appointed.
Good afternoon, sir. Would you please state your name and date of birth? All right, thank you, Mr. Morales. You were shown a video prior to my calling your case explaining the rights that you have. Did you view that video and do you understand those rights? All right, you've sought appointment of the public defender, I believe, to represent you in this case. Is that right? All right, the public defender is appointed for the purposes of this first appearance hearing. In 2022 MM441, out of Osceola, you were on probation for domestic violence battery, and it's alleged that you violated your probation by committing the new criminal offense of domestic violence battery by failing to pay court costs and by violating the no hostile contact provision related to the underlying case of 2023 CF868. An arrest warrant has issued for your arrest in that case for the new criminal law offense of domestic violence battery. Probable cause has already been determined with respect to the violation of probation by the judge that issued that warrant in 2022 MM 441. Probable cause has already been determined by the court issuing the arrest warrant in 2023 CF 868. The court will not disturb that finding of probable cause. Does the defense wish to be heard as to bond?
Your Honor, just ask for a reasonable bond, Mr. Morales, again, as lawful employment. One moment. Mr. Morales is also the primary caretaker for his juvenile son, Your Honor, and it asks for Your Honor's ability to get back out and take care of his son and retain employment.
What says the state?
Your Honor, we would ask that Mr. Morales be held no bond pursuant to the violation of probation warrant.
All right, in 2023 CF 868, bond is set as to the charge of domestic violence battery in the amount of $1,000 and as to witness tampering in the amount of $250. As an additional condition of the defendant's release in that case, he's to have no contact with the alleged victim in the case. As indicated by the state in 2022 MM 401, the judge who issued the warrant on the violation of probation set the bond at none, and the court will not disturb the bond as to the VOP. Anything else, state?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Wasson?
Yes, sir. Mr. Morales is just asking if you have the closest court date possible, so you can have the court date for
Next court date.
Next court date, April 20th, in court 4A at 8:05 a.m., which is next Thursday.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next case, 2023 CF 1064, 2022 MM 2372, the state of Florida versus Kevin Lay. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll address Mr. Lay.
Speedy appointed.
Sir, would you please state your name and date of birth? All right, thank you. There was a video shown before I called your case which described the rights that you have. Did you view that video and do you understand those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Lay, you are here for a first appearance on a charge of domestic violence battery by strangulation. My understanding is you've sought appointment of the public defender to represent you, so the public defender's office is appointed to represent you for the purposes of this hearing. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit in the case and will find there is probable cause for the charged offense of domestic violence battery by strangulation. Does the defense wish to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. We're going to have Mr. Lay on the set low. He is an employee and is a primary caretaker for his family.
State wish to be heard?
Your Honor, we would ask that the bond be set commensurately high with the seriousness of these allegations. In addition, we would request conditions to include no contact with the victim, no return to this location at the Polynesian Inn, maintain separate residences from the victim as well, no weapons, no firearms, and we would additionally be asked that his bond be revoked in case 22 MM 2372, for which he was out on bond when this offense was committed that the court has found probable cause for.
Has pretrial release received any input from the alleged victim?
No, sir.
Court will set bond in 2023 CF 1064 in the amount of $5,000 as to the sole charged offense of domestic violence battery by strangulation. Non-monetary conditions of the defendant's release are that he have no contact with the alleged victim and no return to the scene of the alleged offense, be required to maintain separate residence from the alleged victim, and shall not, while on release, possess weapons, firearms, or ammunition. to the extent the defendant has personal effects at the location of the alleged offense, he'll be permitted a one-time return accompanied by law enforcement officer for the purposes of obtaining those personal items. Is there anything further? Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't address the misdemeanor case. Defense wish to be heard?
Your Honor, we would just ask for Mr. Lay's bond to be not touched in the other misdemeanor case.
Under the circumstances, the court will take no action on 2022 MM 2372. Any revocation of release can be determined by the judge presiding over the case.
Thank you.
Next court date on demand.
The next case is 2023 CF 1053, the state of Florida versus Isaac Anthony Blanco.
Meeting appointed.
Sir, would you please state your name and date of birth?
Isaac Blanco, 11/24/01.
All right, thank you, Mr. Blanco. You were shown a video prior to my calling your case. Did you view that video and understand the rights that you have?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you say PD appointed? All right. My understanding is you've requested appointment of the public defender to represent you for the purposes of this first appearance, and I'll appoint the public defender. You're here after your arrest on a warrant out of Osceola County on charges of burglary of an unoccupied conveyance and grand theft auto. The court issuing that arrest warrant found probable cause to believe you committed those offenses, and having reviewed the arrest warrant, this court will also find there's probable cause to believe you committed those offenses. Bond is set on the arrest warrant in the amount of $3,500 as to count 1 and $1,000 with respect to count 2. Did the defense wish to be heard as to bond?
One moment. Your Honor, my client has indicated he can afford the bond set at $2,000 total. I'm wondering if Your Honor might be willing to lower the bond amount to make it a total of $2,000 while he gets rid of the charges.
Mr. Paul?
Your Honor, can I have one moment?
Sure.
Your Honor, my records indicate that the defendant has at least 7 pending burglary charges open. So I would just ask that the standard bond not be disturbed, and that it be left at $4,500.
I would ordinarily be apprised of that. Has he not been arrested on those cases yet?
He's been to IA on those charges already, Your Honor. He's still incarcerated on those charges. He's been to IA.
And bond has been set as to all those cases?
Yes, sir.
Right. Under the circumstances, the court finds bond as set by the court issuing the arrest warrant is reasonable. So bond will be stayed as to count 1 in the amount of $3,500 and stayed as to count 2 in the amount of $1,000. Any conditions of release that the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that concludes first appearance in this matter. Thank you. The next case is the State of Florida versus Scott Perry, 2023 CF 1065.
City appointed.
Good afternoon, sir. Would you please state your name and date of birth? All right, thank you. You were shown a video prior to my calling your case describing the constitutional rights that you have today. Did you watch that video and do you understand those rights? All right, you've been arrested in this case on charges of loitering or prowling, burglary of an unoccupied vehicle, and petty theft. My understanding is you've sought appointment of the public defender and you do qualify, so I'll appoint the public defender to represent you for the purposes of this hearing. I have reviewed the arrest warrant. Did the defense have any arguments with respect to probable cause? The arrest affidavit, I should say.
Your Honor, I haven't, because I have argued because my documents only gave you first account for the second round.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I have argued, Your Honor, that it seems like one of the charges has been changed to theft, so I have argued. My documents still say he's charged with 2 burglaries, Your Honor, so one of the laws given to theft.
I see.
Thank you.
All right, the court will, having reviewed the charging affidavit in the case, find probable cause for the charges of loitering or prowling, burglary of an unoccupied vehicle, and petty theft. Defense wish to be heard as to bond.
We would just ask for a reasonable bond, we said, if the allegations are true, it seems like the reason Mr. Scott, Mr. Perry was in the vehicle to sleep per hour, Your Honor, and so he's admitted his homeless and reasonable bond, perhaps our bond, appropriate in this case, Your Honor.
What says the state?
Your Honor, the facts of the affidavit as relayed would contradict the fact he was just looking for a place to sleep. He's grabbing the keys, he's in multiple buses, he's messing with tablets that control the buses, and additionally, officer notes in his affidavit that when he examined his history, he had previously been arrested for attempting to steal a Lynx bus. Mr. Perry has a history with buses. Additionally, based on the affidavit, he doesn't have a permanent address, which causes concern for it's a factor the court should consider in determining applicable bond and his future appearances before this court as to his ties to the community. Thank you.
All right. Bond is set as to the charge loitering or prowling in the amount of $100. Bond is set as to the charge burglary of an unoccupied vehicle in the amount of $1,000. Bond is set as to the charge petty theft in the amount of $150. Non-monetary conditions of release, that the defendant have no return to Mission La Cosecha, the scene of the alleged offense involving burglary or prowling. Anything else, Mr. Wasson? All right, that concludes your first appearance, Mr. Perry. Thank you.
Next court date on demand.
The next case is 2023 MM822, the State of Florida versus Elliot Rivera.
City appointed.
Good afternoon, sir. Would you please state your name and date of birth? All right, thank you, Mr. Rivera. You were shown a video before I called your case. Did you watch that video, and do you understand the rights that you have today?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. You are here for a first appearance on a charge of misdemeanor battery in 2023 MM822. You've sought appointment of the public defender, and the public defender is appointed for the purposes of this hearing. Reviewed the arrest affidavit, the charging affidavit, in the case and find there's probable cause to believe you committed the offense of misdemeanor battery. When the alleged offense occurred, you were out on bond in 2023 CF 632 on charges of possession of heroin, possession of drug paraphernalia, and trespass after a warning. Does the defense wish to be heard as to bond and the disposition of, or the Mr. Rivera's release in the felony case?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask for a reasonable bond be set in this case. The alleged victim indicated she did not want to press charges, I believe. And additionally, as in the other case, we would ask Your Honor to not make any, take any action on the state of that case, and if following to revoke, allow the, city judge in that case to revoke bond.
Have you, Ms. Jenkins, had any contact with the alleged victim?
No, sir.
What is your understanding that the alleged victim does not want to prosecute based on Mr. Wasson?
It says, not that the victim can't go there, not to cross the bottom of the the very first line. The first line of the second page.
I see. Mr. Paul, what says the state?
Your Honor, I would ask that a reasonable bond be set in the battery case. However, I would ask, since the court found probable cause for a new law violation, that the court would revoke the defendant's bond in 23 CF 362 for his failure to comport himself with the requirements of being out on bond by committing a new law violation. I would ask for special conditions besides a monetary bond to include no contact with the alleged victim, no return to the site of the incident, the Apollo Inn, maintain separate residences from the victim, as well as to possess no firearms, weapons, or ammunition.
All right, bond will be set in the amount of $1,000 as to the sole charge in 2023 MM 822. In the absence of any testimony from the alleged victim, above and beyond what's in the charging affidavit, I'm still going to impose no contact with the alleged victim, no return to the scene of the offense, and the defendant and the alleged victim are to maintain separate residences. The defendant will be permitted a one-time return to the shared residence, evidently, to the shared residence accompanied by law enforcement in order to obtain his personal effects. During the period of release, the defendant shall not possess weapons, firearms, or ammunition. As to 2023 CF 632, the court will decline to take any action on his release in that case, and instead, any revocation of release can be considered by the judge presiding over that case. All right, that concludes the first appearance in your case, sir. Thank you.
Next court date on demand.
Next case is 2023 MM 823, the state of Florida versus Dion Stevenson.
No application for this defendant?
Afternoon, sir. Please state your name and date of birth.
Dion Paul Stevenson, 11/8/72.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stevenson. You were shown a video prior to my calling your case describing the constitutional rights that you have here today. Did you view that video and do you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
All right, you are here for first appearance on charges of misdemeanor trespass and providing false name to a law enforcement officer. I don't see that you've completed an application for appointment of the public defender. Are you financially able to afford a lawyer?
No.
Just to make the court aware, he did fill out the application, however, he signed on the bottom where it states that he wants it to go up to the but he didn't do the application.
All right. You filled out an affidavit. Does that include numbers? Is everything on that affidavit true and correct to the best of your knowledge, Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
All right, the court.
For public defender, yeah.
All right. Court will appoint the public defender's office to represent you for the purposes of this first appearance hearing. Mr. Wasson, is there any argument as to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
I've reviewed the charging affidavit and find probable cause to believe you committed the offenses that you've been charged with, Mr. Stevenson. Will address bond. Mr. Wasson, defense wish to be heard.
Yes, sir. I'm going to ask for bond to be lowered. Mr. Stevenson is very low key, Your Honor. Keeping him in prison will only make it harder for him to return to a life of non-crime. He's also the primary caretaker for his mother, Your Honor, is doing his best to give her the care that she needs. I'm going to ask in this case for ROR if possible, but would ask for bond to be lowered on the false name or incompetency. Your Honor, client Mr. Stevenson suffers from some kind of mental health issues, and that is the potential reason for why he didn't get a false identity call. The police officer flagged him.
State wish to be heard.
No, Your Honor, we'll defer to the court.
Bond will be set as to count 1, trespass on property in the amount of $150, and the defendant is released on his own recognizance with respect to count 2, false name or ID. As a condition of the defendant's release, he'll have no return to the Wawa at 4397 West Vine Street. Was there something else, Mr. Paul?
No, Your Honor, I meant to ask for the no return. Thank you.
All right, that concludes your first appearance, Mr. Stevenson.
Next court date on demand.
The next case is 2023 CF 1004, State of Florida versus Felix Dumas.
PD appointed.
Good afternoon, sir. Would you please state your name and date of birth?
Yes, Felix Dumas, June 4th, 1979.
Thank you, Mr. Dumas. You were shown a video before I called your case describing the constitutional rights that you have for the purposes of this hearing. Did you watch that video and do you understand those rights?
Yes, sir.
All right, excellent. You're here for a first appearance on charges of possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. And while arrested for that offense, those offenses, you were out on bond in 2023 CF 181 and 2023 CF 182.
Judge, he's actually out on a 30 day.
Oh, yes. No bond. All right, you've sought appointment of the public defender, so I'll appoint the public defender to represent you for the purposes of this first appearance. Mr. Wasson, did the defense wish to be heard as to probable cause? I've reviewed the charging affidavit and find there is probable cause to believe that Mr. Dumas committed the criminal offenses of possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. Mr. Wasson, does the defense wish to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Dumas would request a reasonable bond to settle those counts, especially Your Honor, Mr. Dumas indicated he is homeless and would need to pay for the $1,000 bond to settle the possession of cocaine. We have to go bond to be lower, Your Honor, to give Mr. Dumas the ability to go back out on the road, become a law-abiding citizen and meet.
State?
Your Honor, I would ask that the standard bonds not be disturbed. I would additionally ask that the ROR, a type of pretrial release, be revoked in the 2 pending felonies, 23 CF 181 and 23 CF 182, due to probable cause that the defendant has committed new law violations.
All right, bond will be set as to possession of cocaine in the amount of $250, and the defendant will be released on his own recognizance with respect to the possession of drug paraphernalia charge. as to the felony cases, Mr. Wasson, can you explain to me why I would not revoke his release as to those felony cases?
One moment, Your Honor. May I speak for a moment?
Sure. Sure. Right.
Your Honor, my client indicated that sorry, Your Honor, my client was homeless. He's already in contact with the home program and the transitional house. They both indicated that he would be accepted into the programs if there was a spot for him. At the moment, when he was found by police, he was sleeping there because he had nowhere else to stay, Your Honor, and he intends to enter these drug rehab programs if he's released, Your Honor. We would ask Your Honor to just leave the R warrants in place, the sitting judges or judge in the other cases to act on those pretrial releases in due time, if necessary.
Why would the state not have filed on those cases? I mean, I see the state delaying filing based on FDLE testing and things of that nature. Do you have any insight as to that? I mean, you probably just don't have that intimate a knowledge of those particular cases.
If I could have one moment, Your Honor. Your Honor, without giving away too much work product, they are still reviewing forensic evidence.
Right, the state having not filed in those cases and the defense arguing that the defendant intends to seek drug treatment while on release. In this case, the court will take no action on his release in 2023 CF 181 and 182. It can be addressed by the judges presiding over the cases in those divisions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I don't have anything else. Do you, Mr. Paul?
No, Your Honor, thank you very much.
Mr. Wasson, do you have anything else?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right. We're in recess. Thank you.
Yeah, good enough.